The European Commission has recommended that accession talks be opened with Ukraine and Moldova. The Commission President believes that the remaining necessary reforms will be introduced by the candidate states as negotiations proceed. We'll have more on that in just a moment, right after the headlines. Gaza's post-war future hangs in the balance as the IDF offensive continues. G7 ministers voice support for a humanitarian pause in Gaza. Madrid's amnesty offer for Catalan separatists sparks public outrage in Spain. Good evening, I'm Marie Cato and you're watching World News Tonight. Today, Ukraine has taken a key step toward EU membership. The European Commission has recommended that the European Council open accession talks with Ukraine and neighboring Moldova.
The European Commission says that Ukraine has fulfilled over 90% of the steps that had been set out for it last year. Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says that the remaining necessary reforms are underway.
Today is a historic day because today the Commission recommends that the Council opens accession negotiations with Ukraine and with Moldova.
The Ukrainian president welcomed these words by saying that the history of Ukraine and Europe has taken the right step.
Our country should be in the European Union. Ukrainians deserve it both for their defense of European values and for the fact that even in times of full-scale war, we keep our word, develop state institutions and take all the necessary decisions.
The accession talks can begin once Ukraine has tackled corruption, money laundering, limited the powers of its oligarchs and ensured rights for national minorities.
The country still has to do the work for it to be ready, and yet, and if they're missed, that can be incredibly disappointing. But they can also be extremely motivating, especially if they look like they're just within reach.
Ukraine is a large European country with strong agriculture and industry. It is also a supplier of raw materials such as titanium and uranium. Ukraine, however, has the lowest GDP per capita in all of Europe, and about 20% of its territory is currently occupied by Russia. In December, European leaders will vote on whether they will accept the European Commission's recommendation.
And now let's move to Kiev, where our correspondent Oz Katerji has gauged the first reactions to the latest news from Brussels. Oz, good evening. How is Kiev responding to the European Commission's recommendation today?
Well, it was Ursula von der Leyen called it a historic day, and it very much is a historic day. I think a lot of people here will be seeing this as a huge accomplishment for Zelensky's government. You know, he applied for candidate status and received candidate status in February, just before the invasion began. Moldova, similarly, in response in March, applied. So within 18 months, they've now been, you know, this recommendation from the EU Commission that they be put forward for accession talks. Now, obviously, there are still huge hurdles to get through, to get over for Kiev. Particularly, they need all 27 member states to ratify this decision before they can begin those accession talks. There may be some problems, maybe particularly with Hungary. So, you know, there are still hurdles to jump over, and that's not to say that the accession talks are going to be easy either. These processes could go on for years and years and years. So obviously there's not, you know, it's not like there's celebrations in the streets in Kiev, because there's still a long way to go before Ukraine manages to reach this summit of this mountain that they're climbing. But obviously one goes back to 2014 and remembers that the 2014 Maidan Revolution started because of Ukraine's relationship with the European Union, with the protesters wanting a closer relationship and overthrowing the pro-Russian government of Viktor Yanukovych at the time. So this is indeed a historic day. Still a long way to go for Ukraine, but it's unthinkable that Ukraine would be at this point if you'd asked just after the Russian invasion in February 2022. So it's a big day for the Ukrainians, and there's a day for celebration for Zelensky's government in particular.
Without a doubt, we will be observing what happens next very closely. Thanks very much, Oz, for your update. And for an in-depth look at the issue, we will be joined by Bogdan Nahailo, chief editor at the Kiev Post, just after the news, so make sure you stay with us. White House officials have warned Israel not to occupy the Gaza Strip after its military operation concludes. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu recently said the IDF would need to establish a security force on the ground and keep it there indefinitely. Netanyahu's advisors are now confirming these plans, but refuse to call it an occupation.
This unverified footage released by Hamas allegedly shows intense combat in Gaza. But the Palestinian terrorists have little to show for after a month of fighting. Israel clearly has the advantage and is quickly gaining ground. So quickly, in fact, that the international community is getting increasingly concerned about Gaza's future.
The president maintains his position that a reoccupation by Israeli forces is not the right thing to do. We'll let them speak to their intentions, but we are definitely having conversations about what the post-conflict environment ought to look like and what governance in Gaza ought to look like.
Israeli authorities have quickly responded to Washington's comments. It's clear that some form of a military presence in Gaza is in their plans.
I think you could expect something more fluid, something more flexible, where you can move in and move out as need be to deal with the security situation. We're not talking about any sort of ongoing occupation of the Gaza Strip.
Whatever the final outcome will be, both Israel and the United States agree that Hamas can't be part of the discussion. That's why the IDF continues its operations on the ground. The fighting is now taking place in 4 out of 5 districts of the Gaza Strip, with the brunt of the Israeli advance focused on Gaza City. These efforts have brought about concrete results, like the elimination of several of Hamas's military commanders, but many civilians are getting caught in the crossfire.
My daughter Malak, my nieces Tala and Sila, I loved them and they loved me. They used to come to play and laugh. I lost them now. I only remember that I used to play with them and go out with them.
The relentless shelling is forcing more and more civilians to travel south, to the Rafah border crossing with Egypt. There they have to face another challenge, a severe lack of supplies and overcrowding.
For the second day in a row, Palestinians have been moving from the northern part of the Gaza Strip south using the humanitarian corridor. Our correspondent Diana Skaya is in Tel Aviv. Good evening, Diana. What does the situation look like at the moment?
Good evening, Marie. Well, the North Gaza Strip is becoming quite a chaotic situation, and time is really running out to evacuate it. Now, some 800,000, if not even more than that, Gazans have already fled the north, going to the south, and it's been a little more than 2 days that the Israeli military has, for a few hours during the day, usually about 3 to 4 hours, opened up a humanitarian passage time, allowing the Gazans to leave, slowly crossing towards the south, towards Egypt. Now, many of them also, unfortunately, are choosing, and we can understand why. Some people don't want to leave their homes. It's the only homes they've ever known. They're choosing to stay sheltered inside. But some of them actually sheltered below, inside hospitals, inside schools. Now, we saw images today, a video footage today also released by the IDF showing these Gazans holding white flags, really making their way towards the south, and we have yet to see what the future will hold once this entire ground operation of Gaza comes to an end. Marie?
So we know that Qatar has been mediating negotiations between Israel and Hamas for the potential release of hostages. What can you tell us about this at the moment?
That's right. Well, Qatar has been trying, has clearly stated that it is trying to trigger a truce in order to release hostages, including 6 Americans. Now, Qatar has been trying for quite a while now. As a mediator in this conflict, Qatar provided Hamas $30 million a month. Now, it has enough leverage to be able to hardly convince Hamas to release hostages. Now, let's not also forget the role that the United States also played here. U.S. Secretary of Blinken was just in the past week also in the region, somewhat playing a more neutral role, neutral mediator role, but also has the leverage and the power to convince Qatar to convince Hamas to release hostages, given the fact that the United States has a military base in Qatar. Now, and just actually about a short while ago, as of now, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that, even though that a humanitarian pause may happen, there is no ceasefire, and there will be no ceasefire until all the hostages are released by Hamas.
Thank you very much. That was Diana Skaya from Israel. The foreign ministers of G7 member states have declared their support for a humanitarian pause in Gaza. At the summit in Tokyo, the assembled officials also said that despite international attention being focused on the Middle East, they would continue to back Ukraine.
The humanitarian situation in Gaza is deteriorating rapidly. Thousands of people have been displaced and many have been wounded in the fighting. Trucks filled with humanitarian aid are lining up to enter Gaza, but the ongoing conflict is making it difficult to effectively deliver and distribute it. The G7 summit in Tokyo was dominated by the war between Israel and Hamas. The group's top diplomats met to work out solutions to the conflict.
We have agreed to allow undisrupted humanitarian assistance, including food, water, medical care, fuel, shelter, and access for those involved in humanitarian aid to Gaza, especially to support a humanitarian pause.
A humanitarian pause is one thing. A ceasefire, however, is another, far more controversial issue, as emphasized by the U.S. Secretary of State.
Those calling for an immediate ceasefire have an obligation to explain how to address the unacceptable result it would likely bring about. Hamas left in place.
Hamas still holds over 200 innocent hostages who would remain in captivity during a ceasefire. It would also allow the terrorists to regroup and most likely attack again, given that the organization has already violated previous ceasefires. The G7 members also used the opportunity to reassure Ukraine of their unwavering support.
We, as the G7, stand with Ukraine even while the international attention tends to be on the Middle East.
It will take a serious international effort to resolve this conflict. The question of a post-war order in Gaza also remains. For now, the region and Gaza itself is dealing with a crisis of Hamas's own making.
NATO has suspended its obligations under the Treaty on Conventional Armed Forces in Europe. This follows Russia's decision to completely withdraw from the treaty, which has exacerbated international tensions even further.
To answer Russia's war on international peace, NATO is pulling out all the stops.
Allied states parties intend to suspend the operation of the CFE treaty for as long as necessary, in accordance with their rights under international law. This is a decision fully supported by all NATO allies.
Before its total withdrawal, Russia first suspended operations under the treaty in 2007 and in 2015 halted its active participation in it, which eventually led to the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The Treaty on Conventional Armed Forces in Europe was signed between the two sides of the Cold War, NATO and the Warsaw Pact. As per the original treaty, both sides of the Cold War were allowed to have a maximum of 20,000 tanks, 20,000 artillery pieces, 30,000 armored combat vehicles, 6,800 combat aircrafts, and 2,000 attack helicopters. The number of active units allowed as per the treaty included 16,500 tanks, 17,000 artillery pieces, and 27,300 armored combat vehicles. While further amendments to the treaty later relaxed these restrictions, the aim of the original document remained unchanged: to reduce the effectiveness of surprise attacks in the regions between the Atlantic Ocean and the Ural Mountains. Given NATO's response to Russia's withdrawal, it seems that the bloc is ready to defend itself against Russia every step of the way.
And still to come on World News Tonight. Countries around the world are seeing a surge in anti-Semitic incidents. A special Polish sacred music festival in the UK dazzles audiences. Alice Bialatsky, the Nobel Peace Prize recipient sent to prison by Lukashenko's regime in Minsk, has reportedly been moved to solitary confinement. His wife revealed the news on social media, calling the cell a prison inside a prison and saying that the authorities at the penal facility are not allowing Bialatsky to meet with his lawyers.
Little is known about Bielatsky's fate. Recently, his wife said the Nobel Prize winner has been transferred to a solitary confinement cell where, according to human rights organizations, he will be essentially shut off from the rest of the prison and the outside world. Aleš Bielatsky has been serving his sentence in Horky in eastern Belarus. Initially, he was accused of tax evasion. Later, the charges were changed to smuggling contraband and financing protests. In reality, Aleš Bielatsky was the head of Vyasna Human Rights Center. According to reports compiled by Vyasna, there are currently over 1,400 political prisoners in Belarus, including Bielatsky.
So we can talk about people in prison, but it's just one of the repressive tactics. There are many other tactics, and once again, even being forced into exile is another tactic of not having undesirable activists.
Most of the individuals targeted by the regime are journalists, activists, and opposition figures.
The world has been experiencing a surge in anti-Semitism following Hamas's barbaric attack on Israel on October the 7th. The number of such incidents in the Netherlands has risen by over 800%, a Dutch non-government organization says. In Montreal, in Canada, meanwhile, there was an attempt to burn down a synagogue.
This is the aftermath of just one instance of anti-Semitism. At least 91 people died during the Kristallnacht, a pogrom against Jews who lived in Nazi Germany and Austria. It took place between 9th and 10th November 1938. 85 years later, anti-Semitism is once again on the rise in Europe.
Here's what we discovered. The other 3 stars in different colors and marked death 3 times.
The French Interior Ministry said the number of anti-Semitic incidents has surpassed 1,000. Many Jews fear for their safety and don't even want to show their faces in front of cameras.
We've had a bit of everything. People passing by, filming us, filming the school, getting a feel for the setup. Stare provocations, verbal provocations, insults, things like that. Some people decide to take off the Star of David pendants. People sometimes change their names on applications. They tend to avoid being identified as Jews.
Italy, Germany, the United Kingdom, Canada, and many other countries around the world have seen similar incidents. These include the burning of stumbling stones which commemorate Holocaust victims and attacks on synagogues.
Anti-Semitism is on the rise again. It's really never gone away. You can call it latent, you can call it repressed, but it's out there, and it's tragically out there in force right now.
This is why some countries have decided to take necessary legal measures. In Germany, for example, anyone with a record of involvement with anti-Semitic incidents won't be able to obtain German citizenship.
Amnesty for Catalan separatists caused major outrage in the capital of Spain. Some 7,000 people took to the streets last night, gathering outside the Socialist Party's headquarters to oppose the controversial measure. The demonstration resulted in clashes between the Spanish police and protesting Spaniards. Nearly 30 officers were injured in the confrontation.
Heyo.
What began as a peaceful protest.
Hello, how are you doing? So the Twitch chat, what does it mean for the conflict? If you are referring to the Russian invasion on Ukraine, European Union enlargement means almost nothing in the battlefield sense, but means a lot politically. Getting these countries away from Russia means a lot, politically a lot. This is a strong move, especially for Georgia, Georgia and Moldova, which are still under the occupation. This is very, very important. Why is my player so big? Oh, it's like, is he trying to full screen it? Oh, cute.
Leaders of the independent Catalonia
Cute, okay, fair.
Major victory.
Nice. Okay, let's keep it like that. But yeah, it's absolutely a strong move, weakening Russia's presence in this part of the world. So very good for us. Very, very, very good for us.
Although the independence movement position emerged victorious,
not to mention, and I must point this out, while Moldova still has, let's call it a relatively normal government. Moldova has a relatively normal-ish government. Georgia doesn't. Georgia is led by the Georgian Dream, which is a Kremlin party, basically. The fact Georgians managed to get this is only and solely on Georgian people. This is not the government. The government did nothing. This is Georgians. This is the people of Georgia wanting to enter European Union and managing to enter European Union. No government help was really given to them because the government in question is useless and pro-Russian. Also, Ukraine. For Ukraine, of course, I'm very, very happy with them getting closer to European Union. They did get, how was it? 90% of stuff that they were supposed to fix, they basically worked on already when it comes to entering European Union. So Ukraine is doing really, really well. Ukraine is doing amazingly, and Ukraine is doing amazingly during a war, fighting for its existence. So for Ukraine, I'm really, really happy that they got closer, and I genuinely hope they become members really, really soon.
Joy and devotion is one of the Adam
Relatively normal government. I mean, you're in a wartime. You can, you know, there's a level of normalcy to expect from a country in a wartime. I think you're doing really, really well, to be honest. I know Ukrainian views on your government are interesting.
From all across the country and all across Europe.
But, like, personally, from the outside perspective, I do speak from the perspective of a Balkan person, okay? So, like, I'm tolerant to some shit. But from the outside perspective, I'm like, yeah, you're doing well. GG, GG. Bravo, bravo, bravo.
The inaugural concert saw a
3 days for Romania to clear up, because Romania would need to go clear it up, basically.
From among the works of Polish
And,
sacred
you
music
know,
composers,
it would demand a foreign intervention onto the territory of Moldova, and that's already like, are we getting into NATO entering this? We might, which I would support fully. But it's like, it's a sketchy little area. It's a sketchy little area, and lots of leaders are still too scared to go into it.
Choirs taking part in the festival will be joined by outstanding Scottish organist
To be fair, they gave zero fucks about Armenia, but Armenia wasn't a part of NATO.
Perform pieces by Tomasz Soczka and Marian Sava, among others.
Because I think the problem is that this could like carry bigger expectations out of other members. Plus, it could result in a situation where it's basically like Romania is attacking Transnistria, and Russia can't technically retaliate, because if you retaliate, you kill a bunch of Romanians. You're in a what's the word? You're in a situation where Russia is retaliating against a NATO member, and then other NATO members have to respond too.
The first concert is behind us, and Friday.
Yeah, no, if Moldova was clearing itself up, I think it would be different. And also, if there was a party which was not Romania, like if Ukraine goes in, let's say Ukraine goes balls in, destroys Transnistria. I think Russia would not be able to do anything. I mean, they wouldn't be able to do anything even if NATO enters. But they won't be able to basically claim a whole war with NATO is starting, because the second war with NATO starts, you're going to see our leaders pushing out, right? They're trying not to see a war with NATO. So I think Ukraine getting in would be way easier.
So only a few months ago, the question was posed,
Romania specifically getting in would be a bit.
And now a few months along,
when I say problematic, I mean problematic for pussies leading us. I don't mean actually problematic, because this would be great, right? NATO goes in, clears up Transnistria, fucking cool. You're going to see whether Russia responds or not.
What are your comments on that?
Why can't we poke them around the way they're poking us? Why are we playing the pussies all this time and having all this bureaucracy to go through, and they're just out there, genociding people?
We're fighting for our liberty.
Why can't we retaliate against their fucking illegal occupation
very hard, not
of lands bordering us?
Lines, but
it's unfair. You have a situation where like one side is trying to play civil, and the other side are being fucking terrorists.
Reform the
and we're still trying to play fully civil, like to the point of where we literally argued whether we are okay with taking frozen Russian assets, of terrorists, and then selling them to give aid to Ukraine. We debated this. We were debating, like, is it okay to take someone's private property and freeze it and then sell it? It's ridiculous. The questions that we are asking ourselves, it's ridiculous. It's like, it's not even a normal standard to which you would hold a modern society. It's like 5 steps higher than this. And we are at a war with terrorists. We don't have time for this bullshit.
It's a question of are you ready to accept Ukraine back into the fold of European nations? We were abducted.
Orban's a piece of shit. If Orban cared about Hungarians in Ukraine, he would want Ukraine into European Union. Because dealing with minorities in your country is one of the things you have to do as a European Union member. Like when I talk to you guys about how we have to, on a country level, enforce better education opportunities for Roma, for example, that was because we are in European Union. You think Croatians, with our level of racism and populism enabling this racism to go political, you think we would be doing that ourselves? We're a shit nation. It would take us at least 30 more years to fix that, okay? With European Union, took us a while only because they pushed us into this direction. When you're a European Union member, there are certain rules you have to be following and certain punishments in a way that you won't get funds if you don't follow the rules. Which I think is fully okay, and I think it's pushing a shithole like we are into something that resembles a civilized country. Every country has these types of issues, of course. Ukraine has some too. It would be pushed into fixing them if it wants to get more funds. You get improvement of the country's policies, plus the country gets funds, so it can better, improve itself. It's a win-win. It's a win-win situation, but Orban is still trying to fight against it because he's an idiot.
Because of the conditionality that the EU and America have
What
set
Russia gonna do? Bomb Ukraine even more somehow? It might actually invade. What are you gonna do then? What are you gonna do then? I don't know. We keep on bitching about their escalation as if they can't do anything worse than what they're already doing. Pieces of
not
shit.
halfway, but to make life decent enough, and so that Ukraine becomes an inclusive political nation, not based on some 19th century notions of ethnocentrism, language, religion, etc., but of shared common democratic values. So progress indeed has been made, but as the EU says, we still need to work and get the fight against corruption
I would never do that with the Ukrainian Nazis.
going.
Have you seen them
And
condemning
secondly, we
Israel
need to,
for
improve
invasion onto Palestine and
various bits and pieces,
indiscriminate
but which are not seen as an
shelling
obstacle now.
of cities?
And
I
in
thought that
fact,
was
I
good.
read in the
I
report
thought that was
about
good.
90%
We
of
here in
what
Russia,
was expected of
we
Ukraine,
completely
for it to accomplish. Remember,
denounce
in
any
wartime, in
act of
difficult
against
conditions,
on civilians.
that has been met.
Bro,
So
you're a
what does that
genocidal
say? It
state.
means
Shut
that
the
the
fuck up.
Ukrainians themselves
The fact
are
they dare to
determined
speak, the fact
not
that
to
they
be
are surrounded by
Eurasian. They
civilized
want to be
countries
part of
and
Europe,
they don't have
and they are
imposter
making
syndrome is
that
fucking
effort
laughable,
to
okay?
join
Every single
as
Russian,
quickly as
they
possible.
should not be sleeping at night wondering how the fuck do they deserve a place among the civilized world. But no, they're there in the UN, they're bullshitting around.
The mood around the Ukrainian issue was quite
To them they are
lukewarm.
liberating,
There
yeah,
were talks of the fact
to
that
us they're
the
eating
US
shit,
and the
to them they
EU
are liberating.
had put forward a certain ultimatum regarding
horrible,
the
just
aid that was
horrible.
being provided to Ukraine. There was a time
Ukrainian
limit
back
that was
Moldovan
being put
Nazis,
forward, and
genocide,
that some
foreign
discussions
nation
were
of
already in
Transnistria. Oh
place.
shit,
But
oh
now
shit.
we have,
I've already seen them. Have you seen them
this
respond to
announcement
Georgia
today.
getting
What
European
are your
Union
thoughts on
candidate
that?
status?
Like what has
Being
happened
recommended to
in
get European
what
Union
we
candidate
were
status. I
hearing
feel
in the
that is
media only
important
last
to
week, and now
say.
this announcement
They
today,
already faked
the
a Georgian
geopolitical mood
incursion
was very
into
different
occupied
only
areas.
last week. What's going
And
on?
then they took it back.
It wasn't really difficult.
They said
The
that there's
momentum was
several
there for
armed
Ukraine
people
to
from
gain,
Georgia who have entered,
access or
was it
accession
Abkhazia?
to the EU. That was underway.
I think it was
We
that
were
one.
waiting for
Basically,
that. I mean, the big
they
question
claimed
is NATO
several
now.
heavily armed Georgian people have entered and are posing a danger, and like there's security measures and everything being put in place. And then a few hours later, they were like, "Oh no, guys, that actually never happened." You know, it seems we were mistaken. it seems the threat is not actually here. And what did Georgia get? A recommendation to get the candidate status, not even the candidate status, a recommendation to get one, and they already shut their pants.
To that extent. But the major factor has, of course, been
A
what has
laughable
happened in the
fucking
Middle
country.
East. The Israeli war now with the Islamic extremists who have taken all the attention away from Ukraine. So it's not surprising that Ukraine is off the radar screen for a moment or two or three. But everybody in Europe, whether in Paris, whether in London, whether in Warsaw or in Berlin, they know that Putin and his aggressive policies are not going to go away, and they haven't eased up. They've even complicated matters by their stance on supporting Israel's enemies. And so I would say we take a deep breath and we see what has happened today as a morale
You can say it, my
booster,
dude,
as a
you can
morale
say it.
booster
This
for
just
those
makes it
fighting,
sound
giving
like
their
there's a
lives
blurry
on the
line
front.
between
They know
Palestinians and
now
Hamas.
from
There
this
isn't.
signal
Just say
that
they're
it's
supporting
worthwhile.
Hamas. They're
Okay,
supporting
we'll
Hamas.
have to park our conversation there, but I'm sure we'll have you back.
Those are weird
It was
little
great having you, Bogdan
Israel's
Mikhailov,
enemies.
chief editor
Hamas,
of the
my
Kyiv
dude.
Post.
Hamas.
Thank
They're
you very
called
much for
Hamas.
joining us.
Thank you. Dziękuję bardzo.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was World News Tonight. Thank you very much for joining us, and
Fair.
stay tuned for more on TVP World.
Yanukovych ran from Maidan. Yefremov, oh, that's a cute name. Made speech on TV that it's all guilt of Yanukovych himself. Oh, did it work? Oh shit! I feel that's going to happen when Putin croaks. He's gonna end himself in some sort of a bunker, and you're going to see whoever is like directly behind him going on TV and being like, this was all just Putin. This was all just Putin. Everyone else here was normal. Guys, let us keep the power. Everyone else is normal. Everyone else is normal. I swear to God, everyone else is okay. I'm going to see Navalny doing it. Navalny is going to be like, no one else in Russia supported this. No one else in Russia supported this at all. It was all just Putin. It was all just Putin. No one in Russia ever has supported the invasion on Crimea. I personally don't know a single person who wouldn't return Crimea to Ukraine. Not a single one. Like, you're going to see all of them eating shit on this. Yeah, I saw the news. I was actually thinking, like, I was doing the good news part. I should do shame news. We are having shit news today. I should do like bad news, so you get bad news too. Because today I looked into news. I saw Belgium PM. They said Israel should stop fighting Hamas. Then they had workers refusing to load weapons for Israel. Which also, like, my dude, Belgium, by the way. We're talking about Belgium. Belgium, fucking Belgium. A state with a myriad of terrorist attacks happening upon its soil. Belgium. Don't you think it's a little bit counterproductive? A little tiny bit counterproductive to be against actually fighting terrorists? Don't you think it's a bit interesting to be doing that? Belgium. Fucking Belgium. Out of all the countries, Belgium. If it was someone else, I would have been like, yeah, okay, maybe. And I see it happening. Belgium. You know how many terrorists they have in that country? They don't know how many terrorists they have in the country. Literally, they don't know how many terrorists they have. Belgium was the country from which the most people went from Europe to fight in ISIS. And then came back to Belgium. Like, the fuck are you doing? It benefits you. It benefits you. If it's Israel fighting Hamas, it benefits you that Hamas is weakened. Man, if Hezbollah enters this, it benefits you. Belgium, fucking Belgium. Are you not aware of which part of the world you are in? Are you not aware of what's happening in Belgium? The fuck are they doing? I don't know what was that. It's such a stupid ass response. Like, it literally benefits them. If there's a single European country which is going to benefit from terrorist organizations getting blown into pieces, it's Belgium. And they're like, no, actually, we can just sanction them. Maybe we shouldn't be fighting them. The fuck are you doing? The fuck was that? But also I saw another piece of news which I was quite angry about, and it was on Austria actually. Austria, I said one good piece of news on Austria. No, two actually, I think. Two good pieces of news on Austria. But Austrian cooperation with Russian banks is growing. Which I assume no one's really surprised. I assume no one's really like, whoa. But yeah, they're still working with Russians. Still ranking profit from working with genociders. Cute, lovely, amazing. Yeah, go Austria, fuck yourself. Just, Yefremov. Makes sense. He's not Serb. You never know. You never know, okay? Pro-Russian, Serb. There's a thin line in between. Very thin line. Maybe no line at all. Sanction a terrorist organization that is already getting blockaded apart from water and food. Yeah, great. And then if anything else is cut, they're going to complain to Israel. Israel, go sanction Hamas. Israel, what are you doing? You're trying to cut off their access to like literally basic necessities, because what else could you be sanctioning them on? What do you want them to do? You want them to like not allow Hamas to use SWIFT system? What can they do? What can they do? Oh yeah, Hamas are not going to be able to get the visa to Israel. Hamas are not allowed to come here as tourists. What can you do to them? What sanctions? What do they want? Fucking Belgium. I'm so offended by the fact it's Belgium. Retirement haven for Russia KGB spies. Yeah, I guess that too. Man, it pisses me off. And then when people go like, oh, well, why is Georgia allowed to get candidate status for European Union? Doesn't Georgia have a pro-Russian government? Like, I don't know. I think it's very fucking unfair to have a higher standard for candidates than it is for members of European Union. Okay? Give them the candidate status, they get some security assurances with it, they get some funds so they could be working on fixing up their state. That's good. That's good, okay? What we should be figuring out how to do is how to kick members down to candidate status. Right? Because they shouldn't be getting all the benefits. Fuck Austria for this. They shouldn't be getting all the benefits they're getting. They're just using them to what? Stir shit up. Why are we playing along with them so much? It's fucking ridiculous. Whoa. Abuse of power and under aggravating circumstances. Oh, Maidan. Whoa, suspicion of violation of Ukraine's territorial integrity by helping to create Luhansk People's Republic? My dude. My dude, cute. Lovely, 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 lovely. Guess where he was trying to fly to? Cute. Cute. Like, adorable. Nice. Yeah. Kind of ironic, isn't it? Now, Middle East is a very... To be fair, we fucked up parts of Middle East. We fucked up parts of Middle East, and I think we should be expected to do something regarding Middle East. I do think we I think we're scared of getting too involved, because it turns out that getting involved in, affairs in other countries isn't really an easy thing to do and isn't really foolproof. So we're way too scared to do anything, but we really should be doing something about it. We should be doing something about Israel. We should be doing something about Transnistria. We should be doing something about Russia overall. We're doing nothing. We're being like, oh yeah, you guys remember that time when we went into Libya to save the civilians of Libya? And then it turned out you can't just like go in and defeat Gaddafi and then just like leave the place to chaos. Well, yeah, we made Libya into quite a bad country, partially because of our actions. So now what we are going to do is never do anything again and never get involved again. Oh, look, a genocide happening. Yeah, what do I tell you? And it's such a weird little thing. All crimes, guilt is Hitler. If it was in Germany, man. I see, yeah, they would do that. They would do that. You would see like a Nazi just below Hitler being like, oh, your guys, Hitler wanted to invade. Not me. Not me. I was always behind Hitler, and I was always telling him, Hitler, Hitler, do not do invasion. Hitler, no, no. And Hitler did it anyways. Pick me as your leader. Give me the spot to replace Hitler, because I will not be doing invasion, I promise. Fucking ridiculous. What did I want to see? I had a video saved on this, which is why are some member states worried about Ukraine and other states joining European Union. Wanted to look into it partially because of this conversation, but also I think it's important to mention right now, before we start watching this video, that the source is one of those calling this Putin's invasion onto Ukraine. Like, I just literally saw a screenshot of this before starting the stream. They recently did a little news thingy. Fuck, where can I find it? And they referred to this specifically as the war of Putin against Ukraine. So, yeah, cute. Where the fuck do I have that? Do I have it saved? Oh, I found it. President. They are nice. They even called him a president. It's not just Putin's war. It's President Vladimir Putin's war, because you have to show him the honors he deserves. Germany has taken in more than 1 million people seeking protection for President Vladimir Putin's war against Ukraine. So, come. What do I tell you? Hey, yeah, Mayor, how's that going?
Commission is
Parody
recommending
of the
opening EU
soup.
membership talks with Ukraine and Moldova. Commission President Ursula von der Leyen made the announcement in Brussels on what she called a historic day.
It is a historic day. She's too quiet.
After Russia's invasion in February 2022, but was told to make reform announcement in Brussels on what she called a historic day. Kyiv applied for membership shortly after.
I was like, are they going to spell Kyiv properly? And they spelled it as K. So I can't even argue against that.
After Russia's invasion in February 2022,
thank you.
was told to make
I watched
reforms, including tackling corruption, before the first round of talks could begin. The process to become a member will likely take years.
True. Like in Western Balkans.
Our Brussels bureau chief Alexander von Namen told us more about what today's announcement means for Ukraine and Moldova.
How's burgering going? How's USA doing? You people had something. You had a presidential debate. I saw clips of your presidential debate. It was an interesting one. It's always interesting when you look at what USA is doing politically. But I feel it gets more interesting as you people are falling more into the downward spiral of populism. It's interesting to watch. Saw that dude, what's the dude's name? Vivek. Saw Vivek. Vivek was clown as always. Interesting to watch. Interesting also to see that like many Americans forget he exists. I feel he has more prominence on European social media than he does have in USA, because I've seen several USA people commenting, like arguing about who has the highest chances to win the candidacy, if I'm not mixing up my terms for USA. And I've seen several people arguing about whether it's gonna be the woman, Nikki Haley, right? If it's going to be her or someone else, I don't know who the other person is. And they would regularly forget about Vivek existing. So it feels like he's mostly like a big social media person, but not too much of a actual possible winner. Which makes me happy because he's an imbecile, but still. Fascist domestic terrorist group, oh shit. Ohio legalized state recreational weed, noise. Oh, nice. Ohio? Noise. Where is he? Oh, oh, ho, ho. Oh, ho, 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 ho. DeSantis being the second one. DeSantis being the second one. Oh, and then look at these. Oh, look, Haley, 8.3. How is Trump winning that much? Holy fucking shit. How in the world? Bro. Look, I'm taking opium. I'm being like, guys, maybe Trump voters are just more chronically online voting on this bullshit. Bro, it's all Trump. It's all fucking Trump. You guys are rotten. You guys are rotten. What would Trump even be doing in politics? He's an idiot. What's he gonna do that? He's a fucking clown. Why do you have people voting for him? What's the state of educational system where you have Trump winning again? Like, first time, okay, I guess it was fun. It's like, oh, a celebrity leading the country. Huh, let's see what he does. Let's see what he does. We could choose Kim Kardashian next. But like, picking him again? My man! What good did he do? Nothing. Polls are bought and paid for by right-wing groups. You think Trump specifically is buying them? I wish. I'm taking that, what's the word? Copium now. I wish. None of this is true. Trump is actually like down here, this purple line. This is actually unironically his line. Okay, it's nothing, it's 0, it's minus 40. Ah, you mean like overall? Oh, but that would be, what's the word? Look at this city being 4th place. That would be polls regarding all candidates, right? Because I assumed these are the polls regarding specifically Republican candidates. You people do it weirdly. Why can't 2 Republicans attempt to run? Why do you have to pick like 1 Republican and 1 Democrat? Why do you have like, first you have inside party nominations, and then inside party they have to vote who they're going to send, and they send one and then they send the other. It feels like quite a weird system, because like no one else gets a choice. So then in the situation of 2023, you have 2024, you have Trump and Biden likely going to be running, right? Do you have any other option? Is that it? Do you have anyone else? Literally anyone else? Is there a possibility of like a third option having a shot? Because that seems to both be quite old men. As much as one is definitely preferable to the other, they're quite old men. They're quite oldish. It's kind of sad. We should shut off USA as a project, that's what I'm telling you. Okay, return to UK, return to the rightful ownership of UK. They can send Boris to be a president. I feel Boris would be a good combo. Oh, you're Canadian, oh shit, sorry. Then you are right upstairs from the hellhole that is USA. I guess you are enjoying your stay. I guess it's nice to watch. What is Canada? No, Canada has okay situation. Canada is okayish. Compared to the USA, I mean, everyone looks okayish, doesn't it? Kind of hard to be more chaotic. All I know about Canada is that I follow one girl streaming from there, and she gets weed delivered to her doorstep. She like goes, it's legal and everything. She goes online, she buys weed, she gets weed. So my opinion of Canada is highly informed by the fact I just see it as a really chill country. Od Čísi kucha. Mój. I'm from Osijek area. I'm from the east of Croatia, the best part of Croatia, the based part of Croatia. Okay, the only one worth keeping in the state. Advisor to the mayor of Mariupol reports about an explosion occupies Skadovsk. Oh no. What if a bunch of them just blew up? Arrival took place in a Russian base. Oh, I hope it was an arrival of something noise and explosive. When am I gonna get news? Never. When was this posted? 9:56 now? Fuck. I'm gonna get news in like 2 hours or something. Pierre? That's your Trump person? He's a very Canadian version of a Trump person, I have to say. What do you do, Pierre? Political career, I want to see positions. Libertarian and a true conservative. Some journalists describe him as a populist. Oh. Oh. Oh, crypto bro. Cute. Crypto bro. Okay, we got that. Oh, these are all very Canadian issues. I know nothing about these. We don't have anything like that. Noise. Green technology. Electric car production. Foreign policy. Critical of Trudeau government's misplaced trust in the Chinese Communist Party. Government led by him would support Ukraine by bringing in more Ukrainian refugees, providing more weapons, and supplying Europe with Canada's energy and oil. Oh, nice. He disagrees with putting a no-fly zone on Ukraine because he does not want to escalate Canada going to war. Pussy opinion, but like previous ones, okay. So, this is what you mean by a conservative in Canada? How is this a conservative? Do we... Oh, I clicked on the wrong one again. Do we define conservatives differently? A conservative here would not really be openly saying they support abortion rights. Oh, he supported a bill that would have criminalized pressuring a person to get an abortion. And the motion that Parliament would have studied when a fetus should be considered a human. That's bullshit. That's kind of bullshit. He opposed a private member bill prohibiting sex-selective abortion. He opposed a private member bill prohibiting sex-selective abortion. He supports same-sex marriage? He requested Finance Minister withhold money spent on sex reassignment surgery from Canada Health Transfer payments. And then he voted in favor of banning conversion therapy in a free vote. Supports maintaining legalization of soft drugs such as marijuana. He opposes decriminalization of hard drugs. Not as conservative as I would expect. Not as conservative as I would expect a man to be, calling himself a true conservative.
Certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing, I mean, it's that type of ideological spectrum.
I never really talk about left or right.
Anyways, a lot of people...
I don't really believe in that.
Okay.
Radical left, radical leftist authoritarian, this prime minister's leftist ideology, Marxist government, socialist policy, big socialist governments, radical leftist agenda, the socialist policies of the NDP with the government, liberal NDP, radical left, champagne socialist, leftist, authoritarian.
I never really talk about left.
To be fair, using champagne socialist is based, maybe he was talking about Hassan. You never know. But yeah, okay, I see. Populist, definitely. Some of these seem okay-ish. Now, yeah, of course, if he is populist, there's a big possibility he's just taken the most popular option available in order to get as many votes as possible. So that could be the thing. But yeah, populist, definitely. And that is fact. Once you get a populist into the government, it's very hard to kick them out. We had an experience with that. They have no proper moral standing. They have no proper positions. They're just there to get power, and that's it. reconnaissance. Ooh, hit by fire from the artillery of the Russian Air Force in the Mariinsky direction. What? They detected the movement of an armored group of Russians, and then it was hit by fire from the artillery of the Russian Air Force. Am I reading that? That scared me. Am I reading that correctly? Ending the wokeness in Canada? Oh, it's like Orban here trying to end the wokeness in Hungary. It's like fucking Trump. Trump. Same shit. Putin. Trying to say that global homo is going to soon make all people go gay. So we gotta fight against that. And then making ads. You remember that stupid ass ad about sex reassignment surgery done on adults in Europe? Simonian saying that phrases like mom and dad are banned. In America, you can only say parent 1 and parent 2, and also it's illegal to breastfeed. France banned private paternity testing. Too many people were cheating. France is a nation of hoes. I always knew this. I'm not surprised for a second, okay? If you tell me every single person in France is a slut, I would be like, yep. Yep, it's France. Of course they are. That absolutely, of course. Did you ever have doubts on it? You didn't. You knew it. Oh, this one. Oh, Vivek. Vivek is a piece of shit. Vivek is an incredible piece of shit. The way he was talking in this debate, it was so stupid. He claimed Ukraine is not democratic because they banned churches and they banned opposition political parties. He's basically gobbling up all the propaganda available. Yeah, Vivek, I feel like this man, genuinely the worst possible option for a president that we've seen so far. And we have literally to fucking Trump trying to run against him. And this man is somehow worse. You know how incredible it is to be worse than Trump? Because at least Trump's kind of old, so he could die any day. When's this dude going to die? Never. He's very fucking young. He's going to keep leading the party forever. He's going to fuck up the entirety of the country. He has immense years to do betrayal of what USA is. No, genuinely, he's horrible. He's horrible. Maybe he is that. Maybe unironically he is that just to make Trump look kind of normal. Like, you listen to this dude speak and he's just horrible. He's absolutely horrible. And then you see Trump going around with his, I don't know, sex scandals and bullshit, and you're like, nah, kind of easy to choose lesser evil. Fuck this dude. Fuck this dude fully. Plus, he solely operates on Twitter propaganda. It's a stupid little thing. But it's like Vivek solely operates on what he thinks Twitter people will like him to say. So he says some of the dumbest things known to humanity. But it's like he's reading Twitter threads. If you guys like see Hinkle posting some bullshit, the bullshit Hinkle posts is very often the same bullshit that Vivek repeats. Literally the same thing, I swear to God. Yeah, he's not even a politician. He's a Twitter user who somehow got in front of the cameras, and now he's just wasting everyone's time with being full of shit.
I heard of Vivek Ramaswamy.
Well, he worships a Hindu god, and at the top of this nation, just like Obama was a closet homosexual, we don't want a Hindu god worshiper running our...
Can I fucking complain about the fact they have a literal traitor to all USA values up there? Literal traitor, a man who would be okay with cooperating with Russians, and he's there being like, yeah, well, he actually supports a god that I don't like. Shut the fuck up! What sort of a stupid ass argument is that? He supports a wrong god. Bitch! He's gonna sell you off to Russians. You don't think that's a bit bigger of an issue? He's leading you into a war. Yeah, well, he supports a wrong god, and the last one was gay, so... Russian political advisors? Oh shit, it could be. Oh, that could be true. No, his Russian political advisor is like Hinkle. How fucking stupid was this? I didn't expect to hear that.
I don't like Israel. He just went to Wikipedia, and there may be criminal charges against him. He paid to have things removed the day before he announced his presidency. One of the main things he had removed was his Hindu faith. But number two, that he was best friends with the creator of the mRNA vaccine and called that man his mentor.
Vaccine!
Because he made his money in pharma.
The Voxers!
mRNA technology vaccine. So that was his mentor. Why would you go scrub that from your Wikipedia? He is our Obama. Slick, smooth, the best talker up there. But once it...
Slick, smooth, the best talker out there, he goes. Vivek? It's... To be fair, I understand if you've been watching Trump most of your existence in politics, and then suddenly you move to someone who can form sentences, you're like, whoa, this Vivek dude's really speaking smart. Vivek's an idiot. Vivek's literally an idiot. What do you mean the best talker? He's an idiot. I don't think he ever had a proper claim on anything. He's just a moron. How did the good talker, bro? Good talker, and you have Nikki being there? You have that woman being there? She did a whole little segment on her views on abortion. I was like, bro, this is gonna get votes. This is gonna get fucking votes. Talking about good talkers, talking about someone smooth. If they had a chance, if Trump wasn't there to beat every other candidate out, she would genuinely be a strong option, I feel. She's genuinely like strong. She knows how to use words. Vivek? How the fuck do you call that man a good talker?
You'll see that he's not a true conservative. There's a lot about him that needs to come out.
Who's not a true conservative? And there's a new man in this. Fuck up. Oh man. They always have such... It's a stupid thing to say, but I think it's always such very American things that they worry about, like this bullshit about which god he believes in. Which other country would you see that in? Come on. Like, which other country? Where would you go? And they would be like, do we want to choose this guy as our leader? He may be believing in a wrong god, so I'm not really sure if I want him. His policies? No, I don't care about his policies. I care about the fact that he's believing in a wrong god. What if he forces our kids to learn Hinduism in school? What do we do then? Vaccine? We had someone in chat just like 2 days ago being like, oh guys, did you take your booster shot? Just fuck off with booster shots. Nikki, yeah, I think Nikki is GG actually. Nikki was very strong against Russia. I like that. If there's a Republican leading USA, I want the Republican to be one of the proper ones. I want them to be a proper USA, how would I say this? Patriot, but like a strong one. I want them to be a strong one. I want Nikki to go there and Nikki to be like, bro, we got allies in Europe, we must protect them from the Russian menace. So now we're going there and we're sending a bunch of ammo to Ukraine to fuck up these Russian invaders. How cool would that be? Come on. Why do you have location? I don't actually know. I don't know. I don't know how you set this up. I don't know how you set this up, and I don't know how you remove it. It's just that I don't use Twitter for things I actually think about. Basically, when I use Twitter, I go there to shitpost. I go there to save some news, and then I stop using it. I've never really looked at that. You were a shit to trigger the chats. Based. It's also, listen, in one part of the way I actually have an excuse to be using it. It's because I want to present myself as superior in every single way to every American who is reading my tweets. Meme candidates like Vivek. Vivek is a danger candidate. There's no meme candidates when it comes to leading a country. There's no memes. There's people who are dangerous for the country's future, and there are people who could offer some benefits by leading it properly. Meme candidate is a copium thing that we use to say, oh yeah, I just think it would be funny to see this country go to ruin. Nikki Biden, Verbe Supreme. Weasel from the Suicide Squad. Yeah, it's like, huh. Based. Or the evidence of harms from these COVID injections. Where? Nice. Nowhere. Cute. Where? Rest of the country blocked us from traveling to the mainland. We needed a special permit from the government to travel across. Oh shit. Most scientists have autism? What? Where is that from? It's not real jabs and it's old footage. Great. Oh, great. People here claimed, when our politicians wanted to take a vaccine, they claimed that they were taking the vaccine, but it wasn't the actual medication in it, it was water. As if they just fucking injected water into their body. As if that would be a good decision for some reason. It was such a stupid thing. Why the fuck would they agree to injecting water into them? He's 6 times boosted? Holy shit. Nice. Strong man. 3 people? Have they want to get it confirmed? I know of one person in a village nearby, relatively, who has the possibility that he got a blood clot after. But also we don't know because he had some sort of a really serious cancer before. We don't really know what it is. But he had some really serious cancer before and he was getting treatment for it, and then he got the COVID vaccine. So basically they are currently trying to do a thing where they test his blood and they try to figure out what's even happening, because the clot is weird. They're saying it's not like a normal blood clot, it's like something's different about it, but he can't explain it because he doesn't really know the terms, and then I just know approximately what he tells me. But yeah, I know of one case in our villages so far. When it comes to people in my family, everyone older did get the vaccine, they're all good. So all the pensioners got the vaccine, no one had symptoms. Several of them are in old people's homes, so they keep on getting boosters regularly. They're also all okay. My father had to get it for his job. My brother had to get it for his job. I got it. My boyfriend got it. His entire family keeps on getting it because his mother works in medicine. So she's like very educated on the topic at hand. So we all have gotten it. We all are good. I know of one person who may have symptoms from the vaccine, but it's being tested again because, it's... I know of a rumor. I don't know if I talked to you guys about this. We had a kid in the village nearby who had a brain aneurysm recently, and his father went through like the entire village saying that it's from the COVID vaccine. It's from the COVID vax. It has to be from the COVID vax. His son works in medicine-related field, so it has to be from the COVID vax because he had to get the COVID vax. And then turns out that no, it's not the COVID vax. The kid actually had an issue from birth that they knew about. They knew about it from birth. They were taking him to treatments until he was 8 years old. And then the issue seemed to be resolved. And then they were like, oh yeah, you could be having problems in the future. And if you have some problems, of course, you need to be coming to the ambulance immediately. You need to be coming to emergency services. But yeah, most of it is under control now. Turns out it never can be put fully under control. But the rumor is already spread around. So now whenever someone has brain aneurysm, everyone's like, did you get a COVID vax? Because I hear of that one kid and he got a brain aneurysm after having a COVID vax, and it wasn't even true. Bullshit. Oh yeah, because it could be not vaccine, it could be some other medicine. So it is, important to test it. That's why you gotta be testing it, especially if you're taking medicine on the side, because there is this... It's very easy, basically, for people to get some sort of health side effects and to blame it on the vaccine because they don't know any better. So, yeah, it needs to be confirmed because it genuinely is creating fear in the wider population. And then with wider population having fear, what they do is they don't get vaccinated, so they do get COVID. I did, when you talk about knowing people who died from COVID, I actually know one. It happened just recently. It was an relatively old woman, not that old, but like she went through cancer before. She went through all the chemotherapy and everything, so she was a bit weak already. And then her granddaughter got born. And she was taking extra care, so she like went to visit her granddaughter and she had the mask and she had the gloves, she had everything. And yet, we don't still know who from the family had COVID at the time because they keep on blaming each other. So it turns out that at least 2 people from the family had COVID and didn't tell anyone else. But she got COVID, she died. It's an incredibly fucking sad story just because they're goddamn idiots. So I don't know. Every time I get injured, I will blame the vaccine. Have you seen that one woman making a Twitter post about how her neighbor's kid got hit by a car, and she blamed it on COVID vaccine because this was the time where they still believed that you get a little piece of metal. So she believed that the magnet inside this has basically pushed the child towards the car incoming. It reminds me of that. It's like, I don't know. Here the government was like, yeah, if you have a written confirmation from the doctor that you can't get the vaccine, you can go wherever you want. My grandmother was one of the people who maybe were able to get the confirmation, but she went to talk to the doctor and they did a few tests and it turns out that she didn't need the confirmation, she was okay. So she went and she got the vaccine and she's been getting boosters ever since that. She's doing absolutely fine. So, and we're talking about a woman with very serious heart conditions, like very serious heart conditions happening, and she has been greenlit and she's doing well, you know. So it's like, it's one of those things where, you know, I'm not too positive about the influence it's having. I do know some side effects are happening, absolutely. I'm not denying that some people have had side effects. But the way I see it, when I was going to high school, there was a kid in my class. He had to use a wheelchair. He had to use a wheelchair because when he was a baby, you know how you get like vaccinations when you're a baby? He had side effects from it. He was never able to use his legs again. Something about his body reacting extremely strongly to the vaccine. We don't know the details, but it was because of the vaccine. It was confirmed it was because of the vaccine. You know, it happens. Some people's organisms will respond negatively to the vaccine. It's expected, right? The amount of panic created around this is just goddamn weird. It's just goddamn weird. I'm absolutely okay with people who have had side effects suing and getting some sort of financial help from the companies which have produced the vaccine. I'm absolutely okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with them demanding anything they can because, you know, it's still a horrible situation. It's like, it's easy to say it's normal, but when you're a person actually in that position, you know, it's a horrible thing. But, you know, the panic rising around this is just weird. I don't really see it as normal. Be it infections, like heart inflammation or blood clots, but they're extremely rare and easily treatable. Yeah, like that too. It can be serious. I do know there was, in Slovenia, I believe, there was a girl who died as a result of a blood clot. But, you know, it's a risk that will keep on existing no matter which vaccine you take. You know, no matter which vaccine you take. And you gotta take them. You gotta take them because the alternative is not getting the vaccine and then fucking dying. So I don't know. Just the amount of panic, I think, is very, very interesting. And then plus the amount of panic that this has created against other vaccines, and then that situation where we have some diseases that we thought were mostly gone from society, but they're back now because people are scared to use the vaccines. It reminds me of that one story. I think it was a Polish woman writing it, about how when her grandmother was young, they got vaccinations in their village, and all of the kids in the village, they would dress up in nicey, fancy-looking clothes, and they would all go to the local ambulance, and they would get the vaccinations, and they were so happy to get the vaccinations. And the rate of child mortality at the time has dropped immensely, because they were managing to actually control the diseases when they were happening, right? It was seen as a great, great breakthrough, and it's like we have forgotten about all of that already. It's silly. Oh yeah, Russian propaganda, absolutely, definitely, yeah. Can I see you, Vicky, for vaccinating me against Russian propaganda? Hey, listen. You should thank me. I should sue you for even implying I deserve to get sued, okay? You're welcome. You are welcome. If I wasn't here, what would you be doing now? Hanging out with Vivek? Being Vivek's new best friend?
This announcement today
You're
is
welcome.
certainly bringing both countries closer to their strategic goal of joining the European Union. And that is why both countries have welcomed this announcement today, with Moldovan President Sandu saying that this is an important milestone, and President Zelensky of Ukraine stressing that this is the right step in history, and also saying that this
Sputnik,
is what
just like
Ukrainians
Putin.
have deserved, because there are
Have you seen the way
for
Putin's
the
looking these days? Have you seen the way Putin's looking these days? What if it's Sputnik? We need to spread the conspiracy. It's because he took Sputnik and his cheeks are now fluffing up. Have you seen his cheeks? He's looking very puffy. He's looking very... Found it. This is what happens to you when you take Sputnik, okay? You start looking like a badly operated Serbian star. Look at this man. Look at this little man. See his little boy hiding down there. I don't know how well you see the shadows and everything, but he's looking silly. He's looking very, very, very silly. Moonface. Long-term use of steroids. No. I don't even want to Google Moonface. I'm scared I'm gonna get someone naked. How to say what's a real Putin? What's a dupe? But yeah. I did. Have you seen that what is Japanese analysis of like face structure of Putin's, and then them figuring out there's at least 3. It's the part of propaganda I unironically support. I don't even believe there's too many of them. I genuinely think it's one man, but he's just kind of fucked up and old. But I love the ideas of there being like 10 different Putins running around. I love them. Every time I see that, I retweet it. It doesn't matter who's saying it, I support it. Like I'm hoping there's a bunch. He's also like relatively oldish. Like there's one image of him and everyone's like, this doesn't look like Putin. But he actually just looks like an old dude who forgot to put his teeth in. I think he sometimes just forgets. He's an old man. Maybe he's genuinely forgetting. Putin gonna die next week? Oh, I think it's more like, is this Putin or is this not Putin? Or did he try to get some sort of a surgery and he fucked up his stupid ass face? Look, truly, to me, this is like Serbian turbo folk stars. That's the look. Wouldn't be surprised Putin tried to get a body double, then had him whacked out of paranoia of being taken over. Oh shit! Like in that movie, Prestige. It's like in Prestige. Like he gets a body double, he gets one of them to act out a specific thing he needs to get them to act on, and then he has to fucking drown them so they wouldn't take his place. Oh, I figured it out. Fair. Looks like some Soviet leader. I mean that too. Picked up drinking? I wish he picked up drinking. You know what? Maybe he did, because he recently said that they lost like a tiny amount of tanks. Real Putin found! Is that the real one? Why? I mean, fair. You can kick him. They should charge for it. They should do fundraising for Ukrainians that way. $5 and you can kick Putin. I would pay. I would possibly pay. I would pay to take a picture. Wait for Russians to take this clip and be like, bloodthirsty Ukrainian Nazis kicking a man down the street. Real footage. They're supposed to be at war. Where's the destroyed buildings? Oh shit, I haven't even noticed that. Oh my god. Oh my god, there's... Are they... Did she buy something? She's doing shopping? Is she in a sweater and not military gear? What is this? What's the next thing? You're gonna tell me they go to McDonald's? What was my favorite thing about McDonald's? If you guys remember, when they were filming Ukrainians in McDonald's, like, oh, there's no war, look at all of these Ukrainians in McDonald's. And one of them writes a Twitter post, and I quote, this McDonald's is cleaner than McDonald's we have in USA. Just remember seeing that. He saw a McDonald's in a foreign country, and the first thing he noticed is how clean it is compared to whatever the fuck apparently they have going on in USA. I thought that was ridiculous. Like, the shit do you guys do? USA is literally like McDonald's headquarters. USA is McDonald's. McDonald's is an inherent part of USA culture. You don't keep them clean? I thought they would be perfect. I thought they would be in pristine condition. But the fuck are they not? Wait, did I click on this one? Oh, I did. Okay, fair. I forgot where I was.
Values, and especially for Ukraine, it is important to know that there is this recommendation that could boost morale in the country. However, there is one or two caveats there, because the member states of the European Union need to sign off on this recommendation, and some of them still have misgivings, saying that the European Union first needs to reform itself to be able to welcome new members. And even if they say yes to accession talks, this is, as you mentioned, a very long process, and it's not giving a guarantee for Moldova and Ukraine that in the end they will indeed become members of the European Union.
But nevertheless, a big step for Moldova and Ukraine. Alexandra, which other countries are knocking at the EU door and got news today?
Wait, we're gonna look into this. I want to see chat. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. It looks like that Photoshop. You know that image of like gay Putin? That every once in a while on Facebook, people are like, Putin doesn't want you to see this. And then everyone shares it. It looks like that. It looks like that one. Putin wanted to ban this meme. Spread it around.
Well, it was
unironically, before this fucking invasion, it was easier to spread it around because people were actually spreading it around as a meme. Now I'm pretty sure if it starts being spread around on Facebook, you're gonna go into the comments and you're gonna see a bunch of Z people going, this is actually insulting. Great leader who is very, very into traditional ideas of manhood would be absolutely offended by this.
Herzegovina, and it was quite a surprise that the European Commission has said that it's recommending the opening of accession talks with Bosnia-Herzegovina once the necessary criteria are met. So there is a condition there, but
it was not a surprise. I don't know why she said it was a surprise. It was not a surprise. Bosnia has been attempting to get into the European Union for a very long time, and also very desperately. I guess the only surprise might have been because Dodik is still a part of the presidency. So with him around, it's kind of unexpected Bosnia is going to do anything good at all because he's a piece of shit. But overall, Bosnia is genuinely doing well. Bosnia is attempting to continue existing as a country in one unified state, and it's doing okay so far.
still to hear the name of
Also,
this
they already
Western
have,
Balkan.
I don't know if you remember, but Bosnia already has fancy as, what's the word, benefits when it comes to their cooperation with European Union, especially when it comes to their cooperation with Germany. So they were already close. I feel they were already close. Out of all of these recommendations, I think Bosnia was the least surprising one. I think Ukraine was expected. For Moldova and Georgia, I was genuinely like, I was on the edge. I was so nervous about Georgia because they really wanted Georgia to get a chance to become a candidate. But I thought European Union would not be up for more enlargement, but it actually is, so I'm supportive of that. But I think Bosnia is genuinely the least surprising one. Bosnia and possibly Ukraine, because Ukraine has been doing a lot of good work recently.
Country being mentioned today is a big surprise because there are many officials, many EU officials and member states criticizing Bosnia-Herzegovina for backsliding on the rule of law and other democratic principles.
And also here, I need to be bitching about this. The reason why Bosnia is backsliding in democratic principles is in big part because of Dodik. The reason why Dodik can still stay in power in Bosnia is because European Union keeps on trying very hard to cooperate with Serbia. And it's a stupid ordeal at this point. It got Kosovo angry. Kosovo is recently, I don't remember which one of their officials was pissed off at this, but they were very angry over the fact that European Union keeps on being like, maybe Kosovo will get membership one day, but maybe not. We're not really sure. Kosovo needs to work harder in normalization of their relationship with Serbia. Kosovo is doing everything correct. Kosovo is not the problematic side when it comes to Kosovo and Serbia relations. Kosovo is not the problem. Serbia is the problem. Why we keep on licking Serbia, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why European Union keeps on doing it, but it is causing issues in Serbia. It's causing problems with Kosovo getting the rights that it should be having, and it's causing problems in Bosnia. It's literally a problem country, and they're pretending it's not a problem country. I do not know why.
And there was also good news for Georgia. The European Commission is recommending to grant Georgia a candidate status for the pro-European, mostly pro-European Georgian population. It is good news and huge news today.
Bravo, Georgia.
Alexander von Namen, they're reporting. Thank you very much, Alexander.
On a recent visit to Kyiv, the head of the EU commended the work Ukraine has done in its efforts to become a member of the European Union.
Plus, can we comment on how Zelensky is out here meeting with European Union leadership while Putin has to stay inside his shithole because the second he steps 1 foot out, he's going to get arrested for being a war criminal?
I want to tell you how impressed we are.
I should open the flag thing.
In the midst
Where's
of
my
the
Georgia
war.
flag?
You have reached many milestones, reforming your justice system, curbing the oligarchs' grip, tackling money laundering, and much more.
Brussels has fast-tracked the process for Ukraine, removing
Georgia.
some requirements, but Kyiv is still expected to undertake extensive reforms before it
How
can
the fuck
join
was the background?
EU.
No,
No
no, no,
small
no.
task, but there will be big rewards. Being an EU member state
Look at me
would
now,
entitle
being
Ukraine
huge
to
brain.
substantial sums of money, large subsidies for agriculture and infrastructure spending. Ukraine is one of the world's top agriculture producers. In the EU, it would take the top spot from France and get the largest share of the EU's generous farm subsidies.
A leaked internal study by the EU Council simulated what Ukraine's
The negotiations usually take years. Negotiations are a long process. So likely the war is gonna be done by the point we get close to managing what is the word? To end the negotiation process with Ukraine. In the same way with Georgia. So currently they are under leadership of Georgian Dream. As long as they are under Georgian Dream and as long as 20% of the country is occupied by Russians, they will not be able to join European Union, right? But getting them the status of a candidate still gives them certain security plus benefits their relationship with the European Union. What we are going to be able to do is we're going to be able to fund these countries way more efficiently. We are going to be able to up our cooperation levels, which is just going to drag them closer to Europe and away from Russia, as if they need to be dragged away from Russia. They already are not on good terms with it in the first place. But it's going to be beneficial for both European Union, and it's definitely going to be beneficial for these states. So it's a good thing overall. And especially good for Georgia, because my man, did I not expect them to be this successful. Talking about this, by the way, 10 years ago this month was when Yanukovych stopped Ukrainian European Union membership deal. Basically, the situation that Ukraine is in right now, they could have been in this situation, let's say, 9 to 10 years ago, if he didn't fuck it all up by siding with Russia. This is what started the protest in the first place. Him fucking up everything, literally everything. So, yeah. Official visit to Kazakhstan? The Nazi country? Didn't he say there's a lot of Nazis there? Did he not say there's a lot of Nazis there? I'm pretty sure he did. Huh. What's he doing there? Surrounded by Nazis. Strengthening neighborliness and cooperation. You know what he is doing? Don't know if you've seen the news. Do you guys watch Thompson? If you watch Thompson, you would have seen the news. What's the word? Russia attempted to ask countries it sold weapons to give them these weapons back. Russia is asking countries to return what it has sold them already. What they are trying to do in Kazakhstan is they are trying to find new ways to fund this war, because the funding so far has not really been doing too well. So let's see what Tokayev does. I'm hoping he tells them to fuck off. I don't know if he has the balls to do it. But there's, like Macron was also in Kazakhstan recently. I'm pretty sure that for countries which are close to Russia, especially when Russia has said that you have Nazis inside, and as Russia is doing a genocide of a neighboring nation, again, after they already did that, and after they already did that before, I'm pretty sure if you're a country close to Russia, trusting them at this point would be a stupid fucking decision. So let's try to have faith in our Photoshop god, okay? Let's try to have faith in the man. And I'm hoping that he chooses the proper side. Wasn't it also true that... I'm pretty sure they were pissed off when... Oh shit, what was it? I think it was when Macron went to Kazakhstan, and there were people saying Kazakhstan is... There were some reporters saying that Kazakhstan is Russia's backyard or something. I remember there being lots of posts about it, but yeah. Nothing too big was decided at the point, so I didn't really care, to be honest. But I remember them being quite angry over the basically the new support for Russian colonization, because that's what it is, calling Kazakhstan Russia's backyard. They didn't even mention Kazakhstan by name. When they wrote the article in the newspapers, it was literally like coming into Russia's backyard. And you come to a whole new fucking country, come on. Guten Morgen. India is already freaking out. They absolutely rely on Russian weapon imports. It's because it's their own fault for being stupid. It's like with Israel. When Israel was like, Russia met with Hamas, we are so shocked. Your own fault for being stupid. Where the fuck were you all these years? Like, even for countries who stopped trusting Russia in 2022, that was already fucking too late. They have never given you a chance to trust them. They never gave you a reason to place any sort of crumb of trust in them. But okay, you stopped cooperation with them in 2022, okay. Now, 2023, and Israel is like, Russia has allowed terrorists to have a meeting with their officials? Of course they did. The Russians. What did you expect, you idiots? What did you want to see? Same with India. Fuck India. What in the world made you stupid enough to still be relying on Russia? Should have put sanctions on them immediately. No, it's okay to get some gains. It's okay to get some cheap gas from Russia. Oh no, they're taking away our weapons. Oh no. Should fuck up. Should have fuck up. Should have chosen the proper side before. It's like Carlsberg. Carlsberg company crying about Russia taking over their assets in Russia. Why the fuck did you leave them in Russia? They start a fucking war. For how long have we been seeing that? How was it? They're going to mobilize your fucking workers in Russia. It's not just that you are paying taxes to the Russian state, which are helping Russia do genocide. It's also that the workers are very nicely placed within these companies, you know, coming there daily to do their work. So it's very easy for officers to come there and just deal mobilization notices. And now do you dare to cry about Russia taking over your assets? Of course they took your assets. They should piss on them. I'm fucking salty over that. All Russians escaped to Kazakhstan when the war started. Then Putin... Oh, he's going to bring a big box just filled with mobilization notices. Just handing them around left and right. Oh, that's going to be ridiculous. I haven't even thought of that. Yeah. Oh, my man. Oh, there's videos of it, by the way. Have you seen videos? Look at this loser. Look at this fucking loser.
Adamlar savunsun. Al. Hey.
Which one is it? It's like a fucking TikTok edit. Have you seen Orban was there? Have you seen Orban was there? The Hungarian clown king got a new outfit in Kazakhstan. I'm gonna be honest with you, Orban, with the amount of stupidity oozing of this man, plus the amount of desperation he has for European Union funds, Orban may be the best representation of what happens to a pro-Russian country. Okay, the fact he was in Kazakhstan, I hope Tokayev was there listening to this man cry about how he doesn't have any more funds and he can't get any more funds and European Union is not giving him a single cent as long as he's a piece of shit. I hope Tokayev was listening to every word. I hope he was writing it down. I hope he was like, oh, Hungary refused to sanction Russia because Hungary liked getting cheap Russian gas. And then the gas got more expensive. And then Hungary couldn't get European Union funds to lessen the hit this had for their citizens. Maybe that was a stupid decision. Maybe, just maybe that was a stupid fucking decision by Hungarians. Maybe I should do something smarter rather than relying on the Kremlin goblin. Oh no, the kid. Oh no, the kid. Is this the video of that one kid where the kid hides? I saw that one on Top Sense. He's like, let me give you a toy so I can mobilize you in 10 years. There's a video of a kid in these hospitals hiding from Putin. And I thought it was an interesting one because, like, it's a kid. I'm pretty sure the kid doesn't know the fuck is going on in the country, right? His mother probably shit talks this man so much. Because the kid, there's no chance the kid knows what's happening with mobilization and everything, right? I don't really think the kid is aware, unless his father got mobilized or whatever. It just seems like a situation where mother was shit-talking Putin for a very long time, and then Putin came to the hospital, and then the kid, rightfully, was like, oh shit, this is the man my mother hates. Let me hide under this blanket so he doesn't see me. And then she was embarrassed. She had to be like, no, kid, you gotta greet the president. I'm gonna take away your phone if you don't greet the president. Kitty, please. The president traveled a long way to see you. And the kid was like, Mom, didn't you say he's an idiot? It's a dumbass situation. That one? Is that the one with him hiding? Yeah, that one. This mom, she hates the baldy. She hates him. She's like, you won't get your phone. You won't get your phone if you don't look at Putin. I know he's ugly. I know he looks different than what he looks usually. It's Putin number 6 this time. You saw number 5 last time he was visiting. Yeah, I don't really actually know what's happening in Kazakhstan, to be honest. There's just a bunch of leaders going there. I'm seeing the news of a bunch of leaders going there. I think they're doing their usual diplomatic things. Oh, yeah. It says, leaders are making stops in Central Asia as global powers seek to expand their influence in the region. So it's just them visiting to be like, hey, Tokayev, how are you doing? Erdogan is there too. Erdogan is there too, apparently. So that's gonna be interesting to see. So is Iran. Pakistan, Turkey, Iran leaders are visiting too. So that's gonna be interesting. Putin comes into the hospital like, guys, you have a lot of hospital beds here. Can I get them for my military? Not that we need them because we kill the wounded, but still, can I get them just for like the photo shoots? Just to have them around. Wait, did I click on everything? Look at this loser. Look at this loser, man. How did you get that photo? Holy shit. That's a goddamn high quality thing. Did not expect it. Did not expect to see that. Am I voting for him? You don't even have to. You don't have to. Yeah, that's the best thing about Russia, you know? You don't have to go and vote. You just sit at home and they do the voting for you. Ha. It's a democracy on a whole nother level. It's like the upgrade of democracy. That's what it is. It's not even done on horrible ways, like, you know, how they occupy Ukraine and then they take guns and they force you in occupied regions. They force you to go to vote. They don't do that in actual Russia. No, in actual Russia, they are way more civilized. They just imagine a number and then they tell you Putin won by that amount of points. Easy. Easy, easy. What a piece of shit, man.
Bloc's budget. It showed Kyiv alone would be entitled to nearly 30 billion euros every year under the current framework.
And that money will have to come from somewhere.
Currently, the biggest net contributors to the EU budget are big countries such as Germany, France, and Italy. Also big net contributors are Sweden and the Netherlands. Once Ukraine joins the EU, these countries are likely to have to pay even more into the EU budget. They are net receivers of EU cohesion funds, such as Estonia, the Czech Republic, Slovenia, Lithuania, and also Malta. These countries will have less funds to distribute to their disadvantaged regions using EU funds.
And farmers would have to take a 20% cut in their subsidies, so growers
Good.
in Ukraine can also be subsidized. That's likely to...
All of this shit, by the way, I'm not taking it seriously. I'm not taking a word of this seriously. I don't give a shit. Russia invaded in 2014. Since 2014, we were very, very happy to take cheap gas and to, hear about Ukraine being invaded and to not give a shit about it, and then to work on Nord Stream projects. I don't give a shit. We deserve this. We deserve every single fucking second of this. The same way Russians deserve to be paying reparation for the next 20 generations of their family. We deserve this shit. I'm absolutely okay with that. 20% of cuts in subsidies, we can take that. Farmers are already getting a shitload of money. They're going to be absolutely fine. We're all going to be absolutely fucking fine. Our economies are doing okay. We can survive this. Like, I'm not there anyone crying about this. I'm not taking them seriously at all.
To be unpopular, so some member states are calling for reform in the EU.
Some member states can get fucked.
To new members.
We need to have the possibility for our own funding, for example, so that the money the EU is spending, we are, for example, getting out of taxing big companies or rich people or financial speculations, instead of just asking member states like Germany or Austria or the Netherlands to give money to the EU.
Aside from the thorny issue of money,
usually when we ask these countries to give money to the EU, I would assume they're doing it from taxes, which I would assume is money in big part, if you're an effective country, collected from taxing rich people and big companies, right? You see, proposing we introduce a tax on like a European Union level rather than on individual countries level, because like you can choose who you tax in your country. It's like just vote for proper tax system in your country. Just vote to tax the rich. There feels to be a fix. Does he want European Union itself to tax the rich? I wouldn't be against it. It's just no. Will Mafia take a cut? Oh. People around Meloni gonna be like,
Ukraine joining the EU would also alter the balance of power in the bloc. It'll be the fifth biggest...
To be fair, everyone's rich compared to most African socialist governments. I'm pretty sure Croatia is rich as fuck compared to that. Additional EU tax on big companies to fund the new members. That too, maybe, that too. I mean, we can afford it. Some of us can. Should be done on punishment basis. If you still haven't pulled your business from Russia, your tax rate grows by like 1% every month. I feel we should do that. Once it reaches like 20, they're all going to be pulling out, but we're gonna get a lot of new cash money into the European Union budget. Huh. Win-win.
State by population size, and that will give it considerable clout in EU decision-making.
There's also this fucking thing. Being like, oh yeah, well, European Union will now have a change like share of power between members because Ukraine has so many people. Good. That's how democracy works. They're a huge country with a lot of people. Good. Like, how is that a big issue? Good. Okay. Nice. Especially considering the fact that they are literally attempting right now to defend the safety and stability of Europe itself. Good. Why are we bitching about this? So much of this is just us bitching, just as being spoiled little brats. Bitching about literally nothing. Oh no, they're gonna get a lot of votes. Okay. Okay. They're like dying right now for you. They've been dying for you since 2014. They've been dying for your cheap fucking gas since 2014. We're bitching about giving them places in the parliament? Shut the fuck up.
Of Ukraine, Poland, and other Eastern members.
Oh, they should be treated as clown speak. Every single word of this.
The bloc shift from west to east.
I know. More countries in the east gonna get power to vote. Shut the fuck up. River changed its course through some guy's living room. Holy shit. That's why you don't live close to rivers. L house building. Why are you living so close to a river? Could never happen to me. Man. What? I've seen the videos from the museum that was hit in Odessa recently. Man. Oh. So fucking horrible. West EU would hate East EU getting more power, since we're not equals. Yeah, fuck West EU for that. Genuinely though, like, fuck them for even daring to say that. Fuck them for even daring to be like, guys, well, the balance of power is going to be changed now because a new big country is entering the alliance, so we will have less of a grab on power. Like, fuck you for even daring to say that, as if it's a real problem. Just, can you imagine the stupid brain that is? Oh yeah, my problem with Ukraine joining is that in order to keep the democracy of European Union, I won't be able to take as much power as I used to be having. Previously it was me, big country, country next to me, big country, ho ho ho, Westerners, very very big. And then we had Easterners, like Poland being a huge member of that. Most of the East being relatively weak, so we were able to hold all the power. Now Ukraine joins, big country. Oh, Okay, come on. Let him be. Let him be. Let him be. So I'm not too happy over any of this. Not too happy over any of this. But yeah, I don't know. What is this? Oh, I thought I had news on Putin in Kazakhstan, but it's just the basics of like. Kazakh president said his country is ready to increase transport capacity of Russian oil and gas. That's it. That's it. That's it. I thought that would be something fresh. Holy shit. For a while I got like... But nothing. 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 But they are up for reforms as far as I've understood, right? It's like all of the countries, as far as I've understood the enlargement... I keep on wanting to say expansion. As far as I've understood the enlargement statement, they are recommending it. They are recommending these countries to be given, you know, certain whatever the fucking steps they are going to be taken, depending on the country. It all depends on steps, but there are conversations within European Union in order how to stabilize this, and in order how to basically not lose as much power as would be happening otherwise. Which is why in the video, I think, when she talks about, you know, oh, there's a possibility of this, meaning that like biggest contributors have to contribute even more. The idea is that we need to find a way to somehow fix this. The idea is we need to like figure out a way to not deal with this. It's like how when they talk about fuck, I had something in my mind right now and I completely lost it. I saw CEE and I was like and then I figured out what it is. It's like when they talk about veto rights or something, right? It's always like, oh yeah, it seems like a good idea, but we need to first figure out a way to like balance this so it doesn't create too much of a shift. So I think that basically I think they're worried about losing power. I see them as worried about losing power because I truly think a stronger push would be possible if they weren't all relatively worried about a new huge country joining. And not joining anytime soon, I'm pretty sure either, because Ukraine, you know, still is at war, so. Condescending undertone, to be fair, like we were interesting. We are interesting, we were interesting, and we are interesting. It's a thing of us being involved in a lot of conflicts for quite longer than Western countries were involved in. So I think it has created an interesting perspective. A lot of Eastern countries' economies are doing very well. Slovenia song can be a bit as well. Yeah, I was actually surprised that she said Slovenia is a net. What's the word? There's the word. Like pulling more from European Union than giving. Because Slovenia is doing well. Slovenia is doing great. How? I thought it would be in one of the funders. I thought it would be giving more money to European Union than pulling out. Slovenia is doing amazing. It's been in the European Union for a while. It's doing genuinely great when it comes to their economy. I don't know. Like, it's different when you look at... even Romania. If you look at Romania, Romania is also in a great situation right now, isn't it? I don't even know which country I would look at and be like, Bulgaria? Don't know how Bulgaria is doing. Bulgaria. Who else is doing kind of interestingly? Greece? Poland's doing better than previously, right? Germany is doing great. Oh, Germany is strong. Germany is strong as shit. Our Eastern European brother, Portugal, how's he doing? I don't know how he's doing with economy. Haven't really checked the in a while. But I think most of them are doing okay. 1,080 Russians. Nice. 308,000 military personnel. Germany? Well, let me see what this is. For most of us, war ended in 1990. True. May she personally bring us to 400,000 dead Russians. Man. Poland? Not allowing jihadis? Poland's doing interesting things. But also I think it's understandable partially because Poland is having a bad luck of being way closer to Russia than anyone would be comfortable being. So, you know, with Belarus using refugees to send them over the border into European Union and to try to create more chaos around that. I see the Polish situation. I don't really support their some of their views regarding immigration, but it's a fact situation and I think you can understand it. It's like with Italy, right? You know, and like, do I support the level of just absolute hatred towards refugees that I've seen from Italians? Of course not. And then you're like, okay, I see the situation they're in, I see the position they're in. I understand we as European Union, we must pull some weight to take some load off Italy. Because in the current situation Italy is in... I know, for Ukrainians and Georgians, that's why I believe they should be getting benefits. I believe actual neighbors should be getting benefits. Actual neighbors of Russia should be getting extras. To survive that long, close to the shithole, my dude. To be holding on for so long while Europe has been, what? Sending delegation onto Crimea to meet with Russians as if it's their land. You people deserve benefits. You people deserve fucking benefits. Oh, French intelligence. Shit, I saved a link to this yesterday. Someone sent it into Top Sense. And he didn't even open it. What a loser. And then I saved it to look at it on the stream today. And then I closed all my tabs before the stream. Let me try to find it now. Oh, it was a whole thing. Where the fuck was it? Where the hell was that? Let me open it. I have like few. I have this one, which is a conversation between a Russian and Kazakh dude. Don't know if you've seen this, but like, considering the fact Putin is right now visiting Kazakhstan, I think it would be nice to remind Kazakhs of the fact that Russians absolutely despise them as a nation. Like, maybe don't do the stupid thing. Maybe don't trust them. No, maybe come on. They betrayed basically anyone they could betray. You're going to start trusting Russians now? Come on. Legalize nuclear bombs, and I took your father to the same. No, I actually, as much as I wouldn't be up for legalizing nuclear bombs, I think that in a situation Ukraine is in right now, I think we do not deserve to be judging them for calling for nuclear bombs to be given to them. I think that whenever you see a Ukrainian being like, bro, we need a fucking nuke to defend ourselves against this menace, I think we don't deserve to judge them for a half a second. We don't deserve to think one bad thought about it. We were the ones who pushed them into getting rid of their nukes. We see now the effect of pushing them into getting rid of their nukes. This is our bullshittery. If they had nukes, they would have a deterrent. If they had a deterrent, this shit wouldn't be happening. They would possibly be in European Union already. We messed this up. Support to make the move politically further away. Yeah, like, come here. Come here. Normal part of the world, come here. Now look at us. We got countries which are booming in economy. We got countries doing well. Which European Union state is suffering horribly? None of them. It's not like they're having their freedoms taken away or whatever. You can look into every single one of them. You can look into stupid decisions they're making. Do I agree with some of them? No. Would I love to see Hungary chunked to the moon? Absolutely. Are they being chunked to the moon? No. They're still European Union member. They're still getting some of the funds until they behave like adults and get the rest of the funds. Are they being punished? No. Are we taking away cash money from them? No. Are we demanding that they pay reparations for the taxes that they have stolen from European Union members? No. They're existing. No, all of European Union will not be an Islamic state. That's bullshit. Sucks Russia has so much influence. Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Вас коммунисты, если бы не собрали, блядь, вы там до сих пор, блядь, знаете,
что ты против... Подожди, ты что-то против казахов имеешь?
No, European Union is doing well.
Против вас иметь-то, блядь. Ну, вообще, к вам, конечно,
there's a lot of Islamophobia spreading around right now.
Давай.
Только не переключайся. Давай договоримся не переключаться, хорошо? Меня зовут Жандос.
Ну, там, блядь, одноглазый ты сказал, тебя плохо слышно было.
Нет, ты изначально про казахов что сказал, что это выдуманная нация или что-то в этом роде?
Казахи? Конечно, блядь.
То есть нас выдумал кто? Ну, просто нет, давай я хочу узнать.
Вас выдумали. Вашу вообще страну выдумали коммунист.
То есть вообще, ну, типа, не было вот юрт, когда казахи путешествовали, кочевали, этой нации не было, да?
Нет, нация была, государства не было.
Ты говоришь, что нас коммунисты придумали, потом говоришь, что нация была.
Государство, да. У вас то же самая история, что с Украиной, абсолютно. Вы в один. Сначала...
No.
Сейчас Украина...
Islamophobia is a real issue happening very often in European Union, and we gotta acknowledge that.
Не я, это вы...
There's no leftism.
Ну, вами, конечно, надо заниматься.
Your brain is rotten from Twitter bullshit.
В смысле, у нас независимая страна? Мы отдельная страна, у нас свои правила, свои законы, свой президент.
Слушай, не, мне нравится. Независимая страна.
У нас независимость с 91-го года.
Ну, во-первых, кто тебе сказал, что 91-й год это что-то святое?
В смысле?
Если там три алкаша собрались в Брестской...
СССР, своя страна.
Ну и что?
Ну что, в смысле?
Как развалили, так и
Документация, все
собрали.
есть.
Похую, блядь, и что? Договор сегодня действует.
Overall, what I want you to understand is that Russians are not to be trusted at any point. Oh, facts about US aid. Thought this was kind of cool, but this is not what I'm looking for. I'm actually looking for is this. No, this is about the aid. Where the fuck do I find the specific thing about Frenchies? About Frenchies? Oui. This? What do I have saved here? What is this? What is this? I saved a bunch of links. Ah, here it is. I found it. Finally. Million IQ. Oh, it shouldn't be using the headset microphone, actually. Oh, it's not. It's using the proper one. It's using this one. I do have the headset microphone, but I'm not using it for the stream because this one works a bit better. France riots? Sir, French riots. First of all, riots are literally the heart of French culture. Okay? Foreigners come to France, start rioting, that's them being assimilated. That is them literally being assimilated into what a French society is. France is an amazing country when it comes to the way that they practice their democracy. Their protests, their riots, everything, it's a way that they speak out on political issues. I personally think that's amazing. As much as we, like making fun of them, of like, ha ha ha, very, very funny that, price of coffee goes up 2 cents in France and they start protest immediately. As much as it is funny, this is something that they should be respected for, okay? How many of your countries have the balls to do this? How many of your politicians are literally fucking you in the ass and you don't have the balls to go out on the street? Frenchies are incredible when it comes to that. So yeah, foreigners coming there protesting on the street, based. This is evidence that foreigners can get assimilated into society they're moving in. Based. But also, I'm absolutely fine with the reasons for protest in France. They had good reasons for rioting. The problems within the police force, if you are referring to the protests happening after the murder, the reasons I thought were absolutely okayish. Like I don't see what's all the shock over it. It wasn't even like they were protesting against what? The price of coffee being too high. No, they had proper reasons to riot. I don't know why we are pretending like that was something horrible. There are a lot of actual Muslim people coming in, making families to actually follow Islam. But the conquering would happen just and only if nothing gets done for decades to come. I do think lots of them do get secularized when they move into these countries. I do think lots of people get secularized. I think that's absolutely fine. I think that we are strong enough and stable enough countries that we can take an influx of religious people. Like, I genuinely don't see it as a dramatic thing. When it comes to terrorists, of course, we should be taking more care to have proper policies in place to keep us as safe as possible. Belgium, for example, was one of the countries very good at this. For a while, they had soldiers patrolling the streets. They actually managed to stop a whole terrorist attack because of this. Where do I have things on terrorism? They stopped a whole attack because they had soldiers on the street. So I think, yeah, by improving our security, especially during some times, we can go a long way. By improving the policies related to foreigners coming into the country, we can go a long way. When it comes to, which country did I look into recently? I think I finished with Belgium specifically. Oh no, I went into Croatia and then didn't have time to do this. Was it this one? Yeah, the last shooting they had in Brussels. The man already was sentenced in Tunisia for crimes including attempted murder. And you know what happened then? He escaped prison, he entered Europe via Lampedusa, then he seeks asylum in Belgium, Italy, Norway, Sweden, all of which reject him. No one actually pushes him back. He stays there. What we should be working on is making sure people like this are chunked back into the country that they came from. What we shouldn't be doing is using people like this as an excuse to not accept actual refugees into our country. We can afford to help refugees, we should be willing to afford to help refugees, and we are absolutely okay and stable enough to allow an influx of refugees of a different religion. Of course we fucking are. What we need to do is make sure that the system is set up properly and that it works properly, and this is something we can be fixing. Look at protests in France is admirable. Yeah, same here. Same here. Like, it's funny to mock them, you know? But also it's... Like, imagine if we had balls to do that. How different could our countries be if we had a culture like that? And we just don't. Imams and mosques being controlled by foreign countries. Oh yeah, we actually do have... I think it was Belgium again. Who did I see the news of where they closed few mosques because of the attack? Was it this one that he got radicalized by a specific mosque, if I'm not mistaken? But basically they closed them after the attack happened because they figured out exactly where he was going and they figured out exactly who the mosque was connected to, and then they forced it to be closed. So yeah, stuff like that, definitely we should implement stuff like that, especially because they already knew it was radicalizing people. They just didn't do anything until an actual terrorist attack happened. That's kind of interesting to me. You know, like... Okay. Bible, Torah, Quran all have terrible laws by God. As someone I followed long ago said, these religions are good only if castrated, because those who call themselves Christian, Jew or Muslim in Europe or America do not believe in their holy book and don't follow them. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Definitely. It's the idea of following them, but they follow them just based on vibes, which is why you have them supporting policies that go directly against what the Holy Book would like them to be saying. I think actually treatment of refugees is one really, really good example of this. No chance Jesus would be like, yeah, refugees want to come into my country? Nah, leave them to rot. My dude, come on. I'm pretty sure Jesus was not an ethno-nationalist. But you know, it's easy to find ways to use these books to push into whichever direction you want to go, and we should be very careful about controlling it. AI, yeah, all of my images are AI. All of them are AI. I use Canva, and then I make AI because I'm having fun with it, and also it's kind of good. Starting Maidan because fuel became more expensive? Yeah, it's based. That's how you don't get more expensive fuel. That's how you force them to keep fuel at proper levels. All countries should be doing that, especially if you're a rich country like France is. Because the country can afford to help its citizens more. The country can afford to keep the prices normal. The country doesn't want to do it, but it can do it. You should demand it does it. We should all be demanding more from our leadership. Government is only as shit as you allow it to be shit. Yeah. When they do something, start riots. You know how many corruption cases we have right now in Croatia? We're doing nothing about it. If we were rioting on the street, the situation would be completely different. We're not rioting on the street. We hear about a corruption case, we go, that is bad, that is very, very, very bad. And then we go on with our day and do stupid shit. We literally had an interview recently on the street, and they asked people what they think about the fact that Croatia is going to lose 70 billion euros, possibly, because of one corruption case. People on the street were like, my man, I just want to do my job. I just want to do my job. I don't care about this too much. I just want to go to work. In France, if it turns out that Macron's party was really, really corrupt back in the day, and now the victim of that corruption is suing them for 70 billion euros, bro, France would be going up in flames. We're just like, yeah, happens. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Come on. This is why also, by the way, I'm kind of happy about the Georgians and Ukrainians both joining European Union. I think we could use some people with balls. I think we could use some ball owners around here, and we don't have enough. How many fingers do your AI pics have? There's actually some horrifying creations coming out of that. I try to use the least horrifying ones, but man, is it scary sometimes. Some of the images I have used for these, I think, have like horrible creations. USA ethnophobia, when there's Statue of Liberty. Oh yeah. Give me you're tired, you're poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. No. It says, I've actually heard that if you look at the other side, it says, but not if they're not USA. And even then, we don't want all of USA ones. If you would unite Ukrainian revolution effectivity and French ability to start mess of any shit, we would literally destroy a country to ground. That would just force the government to act. That's how you get a reaction from the government. You force it to act. Because as long as, Frenchies, for example, they have figured out that burning shit on the street gets a government reaction. So they burn shit on the street and it gets a government reaction. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. You figure out what your government responds to and you force them to respond. That's what you gotta do. Serbia, for example, I think did an interesting version of this, where at first, when they were doing protests against the government, they blocked highways. So they would all go out on this bridge and they would not allow a single car to pass. And this is why they actually got the government reaction, right? But after that, they got kind of scared and they stopped doing it. So they did little walkie-walkies around the country. Which is like, okay, you're showing solidarity and everything, and they did do it for a very long amount of time. So it was almost impressive to see, but it's like you're not really forcing a government reaction, and the government as a result ignored this. They were doing these protests against the government for months. The government didn't do anything because it didn't need to. You're not forcing them to respond. It's not comparable. So I would very much definitely like to see protests the way they are happening in France than the way they are happening in Serbia right now. French did a Tutsi a couple times. Why do you think they're like on the Third Republic? Yeah, true. Fifth. You only get reaction if you block the main roads or the airport. Yeah, like that. Because like if you just do a little walkie-walkie without getting a reaction, what you're doing is letting off the steam. Like in Russia, when they did little dances around the square in Moscow, stuff like that. That's letting off the steam. That's what it is. It makes you feel bad for protesting, but the government doesn't have to react because, why would it react to you dancing a little bit around on the square? So you're not actually forcing any changes. You're not actually exercising your democratic right. You're just walking around to feel better about the fact that your country is going to shit. That's useless. You have to force a reaction. You have to force them to see you. You have to force them to respond. Only allow them to live a humble life, meaning that if they manage to get a nice car, it will not be by government salary, but from other sources. Then we'd have a lot fewer politicians, which would actually be better. I do think, though, that would be an interesting thing where, wouldn't it allow rich people to directly fund politicians, making life easier for rich people? I feel you wouldn't really fix the problem as much. The ratio of funding to economic damage that blocking highways can do is immense. It's a good target for assertive from foreign powers. Yeah, that's true. That too. Just and I keep on being very salty when people criticize French bros for doing like the one good thing that France is good for, okay? Because like what are the other things that France is good for? Come on. What else do you know them for? Being sluts? Eating frog legs? Protesting is the one thing that they're actually good at and that is actually bringing some good changes around, okay? So yeah, come on, colonialism. It's getting better and better. They do like one good thing. They do one good thing in their entire existence, and people are like, yeah, well, why are these Frenchies protesting so much? It's like one good thing they're doing. One good thing. You want to criticize the Frenchies? Criticize something else. Criticize literally anything else. They're doing a lot of fucked up shit. You're criticizing the protest. Picked. Oh yeah, they already can directly fund them. That is true. That is true. It's just that I feel if we are going to do a switch to a different system, the system needs to be better rather than equal. So that's kind of a problem, you know? Writing words with a lot of redundant letters. Yeah, that's true. Frenchies are the Poles of Western Europe. That is true. Cops arrest somebody without real proof or politics. Yeah, that's also based. Very similar reasoning to what happened in France when the riot started. Hezbollah group may have Russian-made Yakout anti-ship missiles, which it could use against US warships. Ah, come on. Do it. Just fucking do it. Come on. Use it. Waiting for a little... Do it. Gonna see the entire fucking country exploded into nothing. Are you from Georgia? I'm from Croatia. US previously reported Hezbollah allegedly bought these missiles from Syria when it fought there on the side of Assad's forces. Of course. Do it. Israel cannot stop them. Oh, I know they can't stop them. It would cause immense damage. What it would also cause is a response that would probably wipe out the entire organization. So, you know, there too. To be fair, the French riots, though, they actually had... Wait, is there like a whole site for French riots? These ones, I assume you're thinking of when you people complain about like the refugees doing riots? When you complain about outsiders?
333 bits.
What? Thank you for the cheer, man. Thank you. It was this one, but like they actually had a very good reason to do the riots. Right? Like it's a based reason to do riots. I assume this is what you people are referring to, right? When someone mentioned riots up there. It was a based reason to do riots. They had a good reason to do it. They have had so many wars and massacres and extreme inflation. I don't think Hezbollah will fully attack, but you never know. Yeah, that's true. No, I don't think they have balls to do so. Israel side of Palestine? I think Israel has a right to respond to the Hamas terrorist attack. I do think Israel is not taking care to avoid civilian casualties, and I think we should expect better from them. But I still think Israel has the right to respond. Not just the right to respond. I think any country has to respond like that. I think bitching about the response means that you don't really understand how countries work and operate and what sort of responsibility they have to people within them. Because if a terrorist attack happens in your country, like that, like if a neighboring country enters in and butchers your civilians and then takes the terrorists back into their own country, and your side doesn't respond to that, bro, I'm not sure your country deserves to be fucking existing anymore. Israel had to respond to this. Hamas knew Israel was going to respond to this. I don't support the way they are responding fully. I do think it could be done differently. But they had to respond. They live humble lives. Yeah, but like, how do you know they would live humble lives if they could be supported by the public? They would still be supported by the public. It wouldn't really like fix anything. The system wouldn't fix anything. It would be exactly the same as it is now. I'm nothing. I'm an atheist. If it was the first terror attack, sure. But it's not. They have been responding for 80 years. Oh, that is true. That is true. That is true. The same way that this one is not going to do much. You can't destroy Hamas with like bombing the shit out of them. It's not an effective response, which is why like the only way I feel their current response could end is just with them occupying Gaza. Because like what else? They're not going to destroy Hamas. They say they want to destroy Hamas, but they're not going to destroy Hamas. You can't destroy Hamas. It's an unrealistic goal from the start. You're not going to destroy Hamas with bombing. So, do I think it's an effective response? No. Do I think they have had to respond? Absolutely. Oh yeah, Netanyahu. Yeah. I saw the news. Someone sent them to Discord yesterday that he said, how was it? He said that Israel will be responsible for security, for controlling security in Gaza for a while. He said for a while, so it's like, probably gonna last for a very long time. Probably gonna last forever. So, the line between Palestine and Hamas is unclear. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why you can't destroy Hamas. Because they are such a widespread organization, you can't. There's no chance. Plus, by bombing the civilian population, you are only ensuring more of them get radicalized. They are already close to Hamas. You radicalize them, they're gonna join the organization. It's not going to create any sort of a proper response. I don't actually even know, like I'm not trying to act like a smartass on this. I don't know what's a proper response that Israel should be doing, and I don't know what's a proper way to solve this. It just, it isn't this one. This one isn't effective. This one isn't effective. Hungary? Oh. Kyiv presents Budapest with plan to stop Hungarian minority dispute. Oh, shit. Ooh. We handed them a detailed roadmap of how we saw the issues raised by the Hungarian government being resolved. Ooh. Nice. They're waiting for feedback on the proposals. Oh, nice. Oh, this is humongous dick move. Nice. Nice. Bravo. Bravo, Ukrainians. Bravo, Ukrainians. You are forcing them to respond now. You're forcing them to respond. You're being like, okay, you're saying these are the issues that you are not going to allow us to enter the European Union over? Well, here's our ideas on how to fix these issues. The ball's in your court now. So now what Orban has to do is actually read through these proposals and figure out what he is going to be bitching about. And since I assume the proposals are all going to be detailed enough, it's going to be quite hard for him. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I look forward to see what sort of issues he manages to pull out of his ass. If the IDF snuffed out all of my family, I would be very angry too. Yeah, it's one of those things where you're like, there's no justification for what they have done, and I absolutely believe everyone involved with the October 7th attack should be smoked. But then it's like, how do we solve the underlying issue of why people joined Hamas in the first place and why they saw it as an attractive organization to join? How do you de-radicalize the population when they still can't even agree on, for example, the return of Palestinian refugees? They still can't agree on what the borders of the West Bank are. They still can't agree to shit. How do you work on de-radicalization of population so you ensure more people don't join Hamas if the population has some reasons to be fucking pissed off. Like, it's understandable when you look at it from Palestinian perspective. A lot of them see Israel as much closer to Western powers and as such much closer to the rule makers in a way. A lot of the complaints come from the fact that they basically see this as like Palestine versus Israel court case, but like Israel is the one close to the judge, right? So it's an unfair situation from the start. It's understandable why they get radicalized. I don't really know what can be done about that, apart from like millions of rounds of negotiations and hoping that both Hamas and Netanyahu get kind of removed from power so we maybe can figure out some normal people leading the countries. Just horrible. Some sort of protection for people getting evicted in Israel. Hey, I'm not sure what they already have, to be honest. I'm not sure how the laws are already set up. Not really sure how it goes. Occupations. Israel occupations. Israel is doing a thing. Who of you? Israel is doing a thing where it wants an ethno-religious state. In the same way that Palestine wants an ethno-religious state. When either of them tell you that they are not discriminating against people in their country of different ethnicity and different religion, both of them are lying. When Israel is like, we are treating everyone equally, no, they're not. No, they're not. They may be treating them okay, they may be treating them in acceptable ways, but like Israel by definition is a Jewish state, they're not treating everyone equally. It can't happen. Can we expect like some sort of a secular country to be formed? No. Israel is not going to be agreeing with a secular state. Palestine is not going to be agreeing with a secular state. So, both of them, I believe, are creating very big issues in that sort of regard too. If Israel wants to take and occupy all of Gaza, what happens to the 3 million people in South Gaza currently? Yeah. That is a problem. That is a huge problem. That I genuinely have no idea. I don't know. Yeah, over time, definitely. Over time, definitely. I think the problem is that if we want to see people get more secular, I think they need some resemblance of peace. I don't really think you're in a good position to make your nation more secular while people of your nation have been killed because they belong to mentioned nation, which is an ethno-religion at the same time, right? I don't really believe it's a good place for either of them to become more secular. It's something that, over time, when you're living in more peaceful ways, it can happen for sure, but like we need to figure out a way to allow them to live in peace for a while to create this situation. And it's not really being done right now.
Watching this Ukrainian woman, she's being interviewed on the news.
Wait, he's like very quiet for me.
Sweet-looking was watching this Ukrainian woman. She's being interviewed on the news. Sweet-looking woman. She says,
Anastasia?
When war start, I join battalion called Fuck Off Russian Pigs. We kill hundreds and shit on their dead shit bodies.
Based.
When war finish, I go back to primary school teaching.
Based. Whoever it was, based.
Watching this Ukrainian woman.
People of same faith, fighters fighting for same religion. No. That's like, They're not the same. They're not the same. Like putting them all in the same box creates a lot of these interesting views. Let's say it like that. They're not the same. The Mary and the heartbeat. I know, right? I know, right? Like, fuck off, Russian pigs. Fucking great, though. Fucking great. Wait, I had a video I wanted to show you. I saw the video yesterday, and then I lost a bunch of it. There was a good video on the amount of Islamophobia. Oh, and anti-Semitism. Oh, here it is, actually. I found it. It's Bristol, my love. It's this one. We gotta watch this one. We gotta watch this one. But first, I have to run for a second. Because I drank a lot of water. So I'm gonna be playing you a song. Which song do I want to play? Oh, I heard a good song yesterday. I want to play the song. I heard one about Siberia. There's a song, this one. But Siberians wanting to go away from Moscow. So gonna leave you with this for a second. I'll be right back.
Приходит Дед Мороз, спасибо, добрый Кремль, за северный завоз. Россия прирастает Сибирью, как пузырь. Аллах Акбар, Медведев, да здравствует Сибирь. Сибирь, моя свобода, Москва, прощай. В любое время года прямой дорогой в рай. Куда бы ты ни ехал, всегда придешь сюда. Освобожден посмертно в зале суда.
Знаем, граница не пунктир. За МКАДом не Россия, за МКАДом Сибирь.
Сибирь, моя свобода, Москва, прощай. В любое время года прямой дорогой в рай. Куда бы ты ни ехал, всегда придешь сюда. Освобожден посмертно в зале суда.
Hey,
Плевать, что нет патронов, когда душою чист. Москва уже решила, что здесь всякий экстремист. Но мы принципиально ведем борьбу за мир. Ведь мир для нас всего лишь свободная Сибирь. Сибирь, моя свобода, Москва, прощай. В любое время года прямой дорогой в рай. Куда бы ты ни ехал, всегда придешь сюда. Освобожден посмертно в зале суда.
Great. See, that's kind of what weirds me the fuck out. We've known about this dude since February 2017. Even if we learned about him later, we know about this dude now. He's just there. He's just there. We're like, oh, this dude's a leader of a terrorist organization, and he's just existing. Same it with Prigozhin. We had to wait for Putin to get rid of Prigozhin, a known leader of a terrorist organization, spreading all the way across Africa, butchering people all the way across Africa. And we had to wait for Putin to blow him up. I don't know. You know, Russia is shit when people move to Siberia. Man, I hope we're gonna see that shithole crumbling anytime soon. Israel, who wants to be friends with Russia while Russians hunting Jews and openly hosting a meeting with Hamas. I am actually so fucking happy for that. I can't wait. You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for the next time Putin has to say something horrible about Kazakhstan. I can't wait to see Tokayev bitching about it. Shit, I think I just got a post. Running downstairs for a second. Gonna play you a songy song. Gonna play you. Actually, I'm gonna play you this. Coming back.
Yuri Shevchuk, do you know this singer? He said that motherland is not the president's ass.
Родина, друзья, это не жопа президента, которую надо все время мусолить, целовать.
Wow, yeah, I think I do. Because president describes just the policy and the motherland as your feeling, like your emotions, your history where you were born.
Ну, смотря что он это имел в виду под этим, ну, как бы...
Как вот можно просто не согласиться с этим? Вот некоторые люди, как его действительно думают, так это не так. Но это же вроде очевидно, наверное. Нет? Не думаете? Родина — это не задница президента.
Ну, странно, конечно.
Ну да, утверждение странное. Вот я просто подумал, почему он вообще так сказал? Видимо, очень много людей думают, что Родина — это задница президента. Поэтому он решил уточнить.
Мало ли что у него в голове, да, как бы, поэтому...
Смотря что он имел в виду.
Странно то, что люди вот не могут прям сразу сказать «да». Некоторые еще и думают.
Я не вижу особого смысла и логики в этом утверждении, поэтому не могу однозначно сказать, да или нет.
Я не буду комментировать такие вопросы.
Что с вами случится, если будете комментировать?
Нет, ну просто мне кажется, что есть темы, которые могут оставаться внутри нас и быть только с нами.
Почему? Ну, это же окружает нас.
Да, смотрите, вот это же ваше мнение, правильно?
Нет, это мнение Шевчука.
Мнение Шевчука, да. Вот у него есть свое, у меня есть, допустим, свое, и выбор делать в пользу того, чтобы делиться этим мнением или не делиться, оставляет каждый сам за себя.
Блин, мне как раз на работе нужно сейчас проходить службу безопасности. Так, еще раз вопрос.
Я бы прошел.
Мне кажется, да, но все равно ты все равно такой, так, а где я мог что в интернете наследить? Это же всегда такой жутковатый момент, мне кажется.
А может, там не нужно работать, если уж... Там нельзя, вот если вы скажете правду, то, что думаете, и вас не возьмут, то нафиг это место.
У меня работа такая, там людям должно быть смешно. Если я буду что-то жесткое говорить, им не будет смешно и нет смысла.
Ну, почему? Ну вы же живете тут в обществе, как бы на вас влияет вот это все политики, они постоянно там про родину говорят.
Я считаю, что есть политика, и мне кажется...
Нет, это все политика, вот все, что у нас есть, вся жизнь, можно сказать.
Да, я понимаю, но я считаю, что я хочу жить
Hey y'all, come back. I have returned.
Это фейк.
Have returned.
До поры до времени, потом, когда
Got a package, 15 kilos. Had to carry it inside.
Чтобы он там...
Это, еще раз повторюсь, это выбор каждого, делиться таким мнением или не делиться таким мнением, и обсуждать такие темы или не обсуждать. Лучше задуматься.
Okay. Where was I? No, actually, I'm gonna keep them in the background. Gonna keep Russians this little singy song in the background. What do you mean? The only species on Earth who kills this of the same kind? That's a bullshit ass statement. That's a bullshit ass statement if you think about it for like half a second. It's a bullshit statement. We're not the only species on Earth to kill our own kind. That's no. Not close to it. Not close to it.
Вот, а мы это кто? Народ этой родины. Вот и все.
Putin starting war with Kazakhstan? Oh, I don't think it's going to start a war with Kazakhstan, specifically because it's going to force China to respond. And I'm not sure what China is going to be responding, because I'm pretty sure China wouldn't be too happy about Russia getting control over Kazakhstan. So I don't think the war is going to start. I do think Putin is going to betray Kazakhstan, though. I think he already is not an ally. I think Kazakhstan officials are extremely stupid for playing along, and I think they're going to be betrayed soon, and I think they're going to deserve every second of it.
Поэтому, в принципе, не надо слушать людей, которые, в принципе, развлекают нас на сцене, а надо слушать людей, которые реально являются лидерами политическими.
Поэтому, чтобы, в принципе, не обмануться, вот, поэтому они внешне выглядят точно так же, очень сильно похожи.
No, you didn't say based on religion. You were then like, well, they just say it's for territory, but it's actually based on philosophy and religion, but you didn't specify that. That's the first problem. The second problem is that how the fuck would you bring up that criticism compared to situations like with, I don't know, lions killing their own cubs so they can fuck the mother again so she can have more kittens? You know, like how would you be making the situation of humanity being any more or less moral? Plus, it's not even true that other species don't fight for territory. They fight for territory regularly. The reason why they have evolved marking that territory is so they can tell other members of the same species not to go into this territory, because if you go here, I'll have to kill you. Like, it's not true that we are the only ones doing territory killing. The moment they start getting rich, Russian separatists will spawn. That's going to be an interesting power struggle, though, between Russia and China, so... I'm not seeing a full war there, basically. I'm not seeing them agreeing to a full war. Killed like 1 million people. Their population was small, still hasn't recovered, absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely.
Прикольно добрый. Вот. И он, в принципе, простит все фразы. Добрый, да. Он простит и Юрию Шевчуку, и всем, кто уехал.
Это же актер. Вы сказали, что актер не стоит.
Ну, вот, он сказал про народ, что он прикольно добрый.
Вам кажется, что вот политики очень часто о родине говорят?
Катит.
Постоянно.
Катит. What did I tell you, Majid? That's what happens when you live in a shitty country.
Who did not put on her out of office this week?
Like they have literal regions of Russia where they don't have gas. The biggest exporter of gas to Europe doesn't give gas to all of its own regions. It's a horrible country.
Week was Ursula von der Leyen, the EU Commission
Like
President,
pretending that there's any worse there.
the Western Balkans, stuffed in her pockets.
Entire
€6
existence
billion
is fucking
on a
ridiculous.
growth plan to assure
Can't put it on.
aspiring EU countries
Oh, okay.
that they shouldn't feel ignored and that Brussels still has their back. We take a closer
Hey,
look with our
Kosovo.
panel this week. Sundus Bulam, Muslim social media influencer and the Chief Impact Officer at Brussels Global Review.
Hi.
Kim Smouter, Director General at the European Network Against Racism. And Fiona Lafferlashvili, Policy Analyst and EU Enlargement Expert from the think tank, the European Policy Centre.
Hello.
Welcome. So lovely to have you all with us here in our studio. Thank you so much. But before we get your views, let's just get some more context.
Okay, context. Okay, fair.
As Israel enters long war mode with Hamas, hate crimes against a number of communities have spiked in Europe. From verbal abuse in Germany to bomb threats in France, Jewish and Arab communities are on edge. Meanwhile, a new report from the EU Fundamental Rights Agency sheds light on the bigotry facing people of color in the European Union. More and more Afro-Europeans say discrimination is a fact of daily life.
Oh yeah, true. We had these news, by the way. Hey!
As sectarian tensions rise,
We had these news, I think, last week. But yeah, the level of racism in Europe seems to be rising, so... Fuck that. We need to figure out a way to deal with this. It's extremely hard now, just like it is with dealing with Islamophobia and anti-Semitism, because we have very big camps in both sides right now, and they are abusing the current situation to the point of it being ridiculous. So it's definitely very, very problematic. It's getting very, very dangerous. I'm hoping some good policies are being planned, because I don't know. Lots of immigrants? We do have. They're not really causing, depending on which country we talk about, different amount of problems are being caused. Personally, I'm more salty about the fact that we do nothing. And you're going to sleep. But it's morning. It's noon. It's noon. It's half the day. How are you going to sleep at half the day? That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. You have the sleep schedule of an infant. Thank you for joining, man. Hope you're having good sleep. I hope you have to wake up in minimum 8 hours so you get your beauty sleep. What did I want to say? Yeah, I don't think the problem are immigrants. I think the problem is that our system is crap. And I think a part of it is the fact that European system is very bureaucratic and very fucking slow. I think we're not really prepared for dealing with big issues quickly. Because we could have solved this previously, we just didn't. We just fucking didn't. Camp healthy racism. Less migrants and cheap workforce will probably make governments do some brain work at last. I support migrants getting work in our countries. I support that. I support Germany had recently brought in a new law. I think I saved it for like good news for last week. Here it is. Here it is, here it is, here it is, here it is, here it is. They brought down, where was it? Oh, where the fuck is Germany? Here it is. They are going to allow asylum seekers to work sooner. So previously they used to be allowed to work if they spent, I think it was 9 months in the country. Now it's 6. So, you know, stuff like that they're pushing in laws that are going to make it easier for people to get integrated into society, which I think is a great thing. And I do support that. I do support that, genuinely. Alright, when it comes to immigration though, like first of all, the problem is that a lot of our companies are looking for foreign workforce, right? Technically, you could restrict immigration to, hey, we are only allowing immigrants in if they already do have a job that they are going to be working in the country, which already is a thing for most out of European Union immigrants. They have to have a job that they're going to be working. Bosnia, for example, is an exception to this. Bosnian people can come to Germany to look for a job, right? But when it comes to other outside of European Union countries, they have to have a work visa. So they have to already have a job position that they're going to be doing. They can't just move into the country to look for a job. Wakes up every 2 hours screaming, ah, that's me before my job. Easy. Easy. So yeah, I fully support allowing immigrants in. I allow allowing them in when they have a work visa, and I support seeking as many foreign workers as the country needs to keep itself flourishing. I think it's a great thing. Croatia started getting foreign workers recently. It's been doing great so far. It's been doing absolutely great. So we have a lot of new construction works open because it's easy to get European Union funds. So lots of people are opening new businesses. We need a lot of people to be working on these constructions. You don't have Croatians to work on this because all of the Croatians went to fucking Germany. So we have introduced foreign workforce. And I think that's okay. I think that's absolutely fine. I think it's doing well. Tiny country, true. I don't really think it changes based on the size of the country, to be honest. Poland? No. Not really. I mean, Poland has a specific situation, though. Poland has a specific situation in which Poland is, again, the victim of Belarus using immigrants against itself. Poland does need to be practicing certain stricter amount of control over its borders in order to protect the European Union itself. It's like with Greece. Greece is a victim of Turkey pushing immigrants over the border, right? The situations are specific if you have a country using these immigrants for political means. And it's a lot different in situations where you're like Germany. Policies need to be made according to each country.
In Europe, we ask ourselves what the EU can do.
So I have to leave in like 15 minutes.
A more tolerant union.
Well, let's dive a little deeper into what we heard about there in that story about this spike in hate crimes.
It's not in the same way. What Belarus does is Belarus invites immigrants to come to Belarus and then pushes them over the border. It's using them in political ways. What Turkey does is Turkey creates immigrants pretty much and then pushes them over the borders. What Bosnia is doing is Bosnia is being used as a transit country, the same way we are being used as a transit country. It's not as if Bosnia like intentionally collects refugees, invites them to Bosnia to push them over the borders when they want to force us to make a certain political decision. Bosnia is just a transit country, like we are a transit country. It's not Bosnian choice to be used as a transit country. It's not our choice to be used as a transit country. We both are being used as transit countries. You know, like, you're not going to stop these people. We do have centers which we are supposed to be using. I'm kind of salty about that part though, because I think a lot of this hatred comes from the fact that European Union system is just not effective enough. We have centers where we are supposed to be processing these people and processing their asylum applications. We're not doing that properly because we don't have enough centers. So we try to do it for a while, we fail at doing it properly, and then it creates chaos, and then it creates more people illegally crossing the border and just getting into Slovenia unrestricted, or getting into Hungary, depending on, you know, which. Are they going to Germany, are they going to Sweden? But it just creates more chaos because the system itself is not made good enough. We need to figure out how to make it better. Israelis suddenly realize they can't destroy all of the other side, since they need them as construction workers. They're so much cheaper than Israeli workers that no Israeli worker will ever work in construction. Oh yeah, it reminds me of seeing, there was this one Palestinian doing an interview in which he was like, oh yeah, I actually live in Israel, and like Israel gave me much better job and much more money than my own state could ever give me. So I kind of like support Israel because they have given me and my family much better life than what we would have had otherwise. And it's like, oh, like an interesting argument to bring up, isn't it? Fair, I guess. Weapon in Russian and Belarusian hands? Yeah. So like Polish border is a unique example, just like Greek border is a unique example, just like Italian border is a unique example. You can't lump all of these together, right? Immigrants coming to the border of Italy are not immigrants that are used in political means. They are immigrants who have chosen a route that works the best for them so far, and they are choosing to enter into Italy through Lampedusa. But it's not like they are used politically. It's not like African countries are pushing them there intentionally, right? So all of these are very unique situations, and you need to be aware when you're commenting on them and when you're commenting on their policies that these countries need specific policies which are accustomed to their situation. In the very much same way that you wouldn't look at Slovenia and be like, oh yeah, Slovenia needs to implement the immigration policies that Poland has. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of a dumbass situation to be so simplifying when it comes to this. I don't think immigrants are like army coming to Europe. I think most of Europe knows what it is like when there's an army coming to your doors. I don't think immigrants are like an army. Europeans, if you are in Schengen area, you can go to other countries without papers, yeah. If you are in the Schengen area, you are allowed to go to other countries without papers, usually, unless specific situations call for more extreme border control to be implemented, but usually you just cross over the borders into other countries. Why are most of them males? It's because when we talk about refugees specifically, it's because it's safer for them. It's safer and it's easier to cross over the borders if you are a man, especially if you are a young man. What we usually see is that these immigrants come into our countries, they demand asylum. Once they get the asylum approved, this is where they pull the rest of the family, making the whole family do a trip. And I'm sure you've seen already how dangerous these trips are. We had a bunch of people drowning in the river here just like a year ago or something. They were on a horribly built boat in the middle of the winter trying to cross over the border. Of course they're not sending women and children with them. It's a desperate trip they're making. It makes absolute sense that men are the ones going first. Israelis can't work there since their wages are so ridiculously low. So Israel must bring workers from Nepal, Philippines, Thailand. Oh, it's like Germany. Israel is the Germany of Middle East, isn't it? No, Sweden is not changed and full of crime because of immigrants. Sweden has had a rising crime rate since 1990s. And this is the fault of Sweden and Sweden alone. So Sweden 1990s, what they did was they allowed biker gangs to be existing in Sweden and doing crimes and beating each other up and killing each other. What Swedish police did about these mentioned biker gangs is literally nothing. They acknowledge this. You have reports by the Swedish police acknowledging this. What they did was nothing. What happened after this are the Balkan Wars. Yugoslav War of 1990. Our immigrants run to Sweden. They bring their illegal weapons into Sweden. They bring their criminal organizations into Sweden. They either cooperate or get into clashes with Swedish already organized crime services. What does Swedish police do about this in 1990s? Nothing. They do nothing. To blame this on immigrants is a blindness. This situation has been going on in Sweden for a very, very long time, and they have been doing nothing ever since it was going on. They were genuinely doing nothing. It's the fault of the Swedish police. You have reports from like 2006. You have this one, 2009, 2012. Where Swedes are like, hey, we need to do something. We have these vulnerable areas, we need to do something. Because they have a whole area of a country in which they are doing nothing. The employment levels are low, the education levels are low. Whenever immigrants come there, they chunk them into these areas, which is what they did to our immigrants when we were coming from Yugoslavia. They're doing nothing. Literally nothing. It is absolutely not true that this is the fault of immigrants. Genuinely not true at all. So, Europe. Always neutral, man. If they did something, it would be GG. They're doing nothing. Okay? They are trying to figure it out now. I believe that was recently written that they are trying to, send the military on the street to take care of these organized crime groups, which like GG Sweden. A bit late, but GG, finally doing some shit. They had these organized crime gangs for a while. If you look into who makes these organized crime gangs, you're gonna find a bunch of like our people in it. You're gonna find their, here it is, Goran Kotaran, 2002. We don't even know how many people he killed. He's bragging all around Bosna that he killed a bunch of people there. We don't know. We literally don't know. There's no evidence. Why is there no evidence? Because they have these areas, they chose to call them vulnerable areas of the country, that they just don't take care of properly. He's been allowed to be there, to do his killing of other crime gang members for who knows how long and who knows how many people he killed. Now the system is the problem. The problem absolutely is not the immigrant itself. The system is the problem. The system is the problem, and the system is something Sweden can fix. It has been refusing to take a proper look at these organizations for decades. This is not the fault of immigrants coming into Sweden right now, and especially not the fault of Middle Eastern immigrants coming into Sweden right now. The word Philippine is used interchangeably with someone who takes care of my elderly parents. Yeah, Germany. Germany of Middle East, genuinely. Like we have the same exact situation right here. When you look at people taking care of the elderly, it's mostly Balkan women. We have specific courses here. You can specifically for free get education to take care of elderly people, and then you go either to Germany or to Austria. So, and apparently it pays well, and not only does it pay well, German pensioners are fucking rich. So there are several of women from my village who basically, unironically, live the influencer lifestyle because they have this job. So these pensioners, they're bored and they have a lot of money, so they take them to little trips all over the world. And it's a pensioner. It's like having a sugar daddy, but like you're not having to do anything sexual with him. He's just there and he's wanting to travel and you're there to be his little babysitter while he travels. A weird little symbiosis of countries, but it works. It works, and it's very popular for our women to go there. Like if you don't know what you want to do after, you know, completing your education, you go, you get a course, you go to Germany to take care of old people. Yeah, it is weird. I could never. But I have some relatives who work in the job. Some of them work specifically only in Germany, in old people's homes, where it's a bit more organized. And other ones work for individuals, where it's a bit less organized. So, you know, you have situations like traveling all over the world because the pensioner is bored and they want to be traveling. But it pays a lot of money and pays way better than money you could be getting in Croatia for doing a similar type of work. So, you know. Like, I'm okay with the symbiosis existing, it's interesting. Ukrainians and Polish strawberries, so it's like Croatians and what the fuck do they do in Slovenia? I want to remember the name of the fruit, but I can't remember it. It's not strawberries though. But yeah, we just go there. It's like it's known that Croatians are gonna be coming. Europe needs to challenge and face the problems. Yeah, that's what I'm advocating for, literally. That is word by word what I'm advocating for. I'm advocating for Sweden to wake the fuck up and to work on their system. They allowed this to happen. They are the ones who have to fix it. They are the ones who have the means to fix it. They are the ones who should be working on this and who can't be complicit with having vulnerable areas in the country. It's such a stupid ass thing to do. Like, you make up a name for an area of your country you're not taking care of, and then what? You just, whenever a crime happens there, you're like, oh, not me. Not me. I don't know who's to be blamed for this. It happened in a vulnerable area. It happened in a vulnerable fucking area. So, you know, what do I do? No. Wake the fuck up and take care of this. Taking care of very old people that can't take care of themselves is very tough jobs. Oh, definitely. Still low in for salaries in Germany? Yes. But like German minimum wage is, I think my relatives are getting around 1,000 euros right now. In Croatia, minimum wage is around, I think, either 550 euros or 600 euros. So basically, you get double the amount of money that you would be getting in Croatia. So it's worth it. Plus you get a bit more because usually you're not on a minimum wage. If you actually take care of older people, you're a bit higher. So, you know, it makes sense. It makes sense. Ukrainians work a lot of customer service jobs. Ooh, we actually had a research recently. Statistics were published on, like, when you take immigrants from your country into other countries of European Union, what jobs are these immigrants working? And you had like engineers there. I think Germany was specifically engineers, and you had IT experts and stuff like that. You know what Croatia had? Waiters. We had waiters. Our people go outside to work in coffee shops. So it's something. It's not a construction worker. Vicky gets paid in Vatnik tears. I wish. I wish. I wish. They pay the rent. You know how people say that Vatniks live in NATO heads rent-free? They don't live here rent-free. They pay with their tears. Every time I see them getting blown the fuck up by a drone, I'm like, rent paid for another month, bitch. 820? Don't make fun of construction workers. Hey, my brother worked as a construction worker. It's tough work. It is tough work. I have so much compassion with fucking construction workers. Genuinely, it's a tough job. He was working ridiculously long hours. It was very physically exhausting. Sometimes he would get like proper weekend free. Sometimes he would get not a single day in the week free because they had more job. Tough fucking work. The danger of the job, I'm not even gonna go into that. The physical damages it does to you. Tough fucking work, right? Like the fact we mostly work as waiters, it's almost a blessing. It's not physically hard, right? It's an easy job to take. The fact that people in coffee shops all around the European Union are like, I need someone to bring coffee to people. Who do I hire? I could get a Croatian. I'm rather having that than people wanting to build a hotel and being like, oh, let me invite a Croatian to build this for me. So it's something, you know, it feels like an appropriate position for us to be in right now. Yeah, it's very dangerous. Oh, it's very, very, very dangerous. They don't have proper equipment usually for safety. If they do have proper equipment, it's minimal. So like it's gonna save you from dying, but it will not save you from not getting wounded severely. It's a very, very serious job and it's a very, very hard job. So Polish worked shit ton of construction jobs in UK and Ireland. That's a hard working fucking nation. It's like here we get construction workers from Nepal and we get them from Bosnia. Man. Just man. Oh, if it's illegal, it's the worst. If it's illegal, it's the worst. I don't know how are the laws, how they were in UK and Ireland. Currently in Germany, if you work illegally and they catch you working illegally, you can't come work in Germany at all. Like they ban you. You're out. You can't. I have one family member who worked illegally in Germany for a while. He didn't have proper equipment, security equipment on the job, so he got wounded doing one of his construction jobs. He couldn't go to the hospital because he was working illegally. And if he went to a hospital, they would know he was working illegally and they would ban him from the country. So he had to travel from Germany to Croatia to get treatment here, in a hospital here. So, yeah, don't do it. It's not worth it. Don't do it. No. When it comes to doing works equally with men, the thing with that is that the position must be open to everyone applying. It's not about... We do see women assaulting Russian position with machine guns though. But when it comes to equality in workspace, it's about the fact that when you open a construction job, you are allowed to be like, hey, I want a person with this experience, right? You need to be able to do these jobs. You can't say, I want a man or I want a woman. The point of equality is that you can set up criteria and then, I don't know, a woman applies, she has to prove that she is good for the job. In the same way, if a man applies, he has to prove he is good for the job. But you can't discriminate against them from the start based on which gender they are. You have to know who is better for the job. All people I know working abroad from Romania are in UK construction sites. Oh, that's hard work. You graduated? What are you now? Where are you now? What are you doing now? Army recruitment ads for Russia starring tough young white men, and US starring diverse women. Oh, yeah. And then Russia had to start hiring women too. Which is quite an interesting thing because we already know that they practice having field wives, so that's going to be interesting to see. Not migrating too much for starts. Oh, that's a good way to graduate, like staying in your country. That's good. That's a good thing. It's a good, like... We had that switch recently too. It only, I think, started this year when we started introducing so much foreign workers to the country that it's actually being noticeable. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice, you know. It feels good to be reaching the point of a country where, like, foreigners come here to work. We don't run away. They come here, like, nice. Impressive. Hey, by the way, guys, I have to leave. I have to go to work. I have to drive. Listen. saw a black dude for the first time in my life. It's like me in high school. I remember that. I remember seeing my first time seeing a black person in the city. And when I went into the high school classroom, they were already talking about the fact that they saw a black man on the street, and they were like, wow, did we get like a tourist? Because we didn't really get tourists. Osijek wasn't really popular with tourists recently. It was now, it's getting better, but like when I was in high school, no one was really coming around. So everyone was like, we got a tourist, have you seen the tourist? And everyone knew the man. They literally knew, like, he was driving some fancy-ass car. He was some rich man. I don't know who he was. But he was driving a fancy-ass car, and everyone knew that we had a black man in the city, and he is driving a really fancy car. It was so weird. It's like, you know, those like tribes in the forest, and then they see the plane flying for the first time, and they're all like, wow, that was us. That was us. We were like little Croatian primitives in the east of Croatia. First time seeing a person of a different race, being absolutely shocked. So, hey, I guess we're kind of all graduating a little bit. And by the way, I'm leaving. I'm running, okay? What did I want to say? Tomorrow's stream is probably gonna get moved on to Saturday morning, so take care of that. I will let you know 100% when I come to the job today, which will be in like 20 minutes. But yeah, tomorrow's stream probably is not going to happen, and Saturday one will happen instead. So we'll see that. And what else? I think that's it. I think that's about it. Thank you for joining here, my dudes. Thank you very, 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 very much for joining here. No hangover stream. I can't drink on Friday because I work on Saturday. So, what do I tell you? Once I get a proper job where I'm free for weekends, yeah, you can be drinking on Friday for me though. Drink a beer for me. Taste one for me. So yeah, gonna be seeing you. Take care of yourself. Drink enough water. Eat something good. Eat a vegetable. When's the last time you've eaten a vegetable? Go and eat your closest vegetable right now. Okay?